The final playoff berth in what has been an unusual week preceding this game. Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, bringing in 20 veterans into his office for a so-called pep talk, and then 83-year-old co-owner Wellington Mara with a very brief but powerful message to his team later on in the week. And Matt, no question about it, it looks like the Dallas Cowboys in particular have had 9 lives to earn a playoff berth, and they have it in their hands.
Yeah, there's no question, but they've had it in their hands before. And I think if you look at this Dallas Cowboy team, they may have hit their low light last week against the New Orleans Saints. They just did not play well. And so in today's football game, there are some things that have to happen. First of all, this Dallas Cowboy team has become a running team. And when they play this New York Giant team, especially if you look at it last time, the Giants took that away. And then you look a little bit further, you have young receivers in the Dallas Cowboy offense. You also have inexperienced defenders for the Giants. And what that means is Troy Aikman's got to play big. If Troy Aikman is what he's supposed to be, Cowboys will win this game.
Now, as far as the Giants are concerned, they wanted Green Bay to lose this game, and so their playoff hopes are dashed. What about this game? Is it a meaningless game for the Giants?
No, there's not a game in the National Football League that's meaningless. And you have to remember this, in today's game of free agency, where people are moving, this is your resume. And so you're going to go out onto the field, and you're going to play with great pride. I can guarantee that these players out here will not lay down. If they do, I'll kick them in a rear end.
Okay, you go down there to do it. Right now, let's go down to the field to Pam Oliver.
All right, Dick, with the Cowboys very much in control of their own destiny, it's hard to imagine they would come out and not be ready to play. Well, that's a sentiment Deion Sanders shared with me earlier. He said, we are playing for the playoffs. We have no choice but to be ready. Meanwhile, Giants receiver Amani Toomer told me, regardless of what happened earlier up in Green Bay, the Giants will try to give the Cowboys all they can handle. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. So they're set to battle in the final regular season game. For the Cowboys, it's win and in. For the Giants, they are in the spoiler role. And back at enthusiastic Texas Stadium, and let's look at some key scores. Minnesota beat Detroit, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the NFC Central and will get a first-round bye. Minnesota will host Detroit possibly in a wild-card game. Notice that the Eagles lead the Rams in the fourth quarter. The Green Bay Packers, of course, beating Arizona to effectively knock out the Giants. By the Jets beating Seattle, that means that the Miami Dolphins are in the playoffs and Kansas City on the brink of winning the AFC West. A lot to chew over as we enter the late stages of the final weekend of the regular season. And Troy Aikman getting set to go to work as the Cowboys have won the toss, and the opening kickoff by Carrie Blanchard. And Jason Tucker at the 9-yard line returning for the Cowboys, coming off a brilliant game against New Orleans, and it's a race to the end zone.
Dick, that was a great effort by David Patton.
He chased him down, Matt, and prevented the touchdown attempt by Tucker, but a 79-yard kickoff return and a penalty marker thrown down at the end of the play.
That's going to be a face mask on Patton. That's a game-saving face mask, not game-saving, rather, but a touchdown-saving face mask.
And
Tucker did a great job. They started up inside. You can see they're going to start in here, and then his vision's going to take him to the other side. Right here, he gets the over pursuit, and he sees the back door. And then watch Patton take a great angle. His aiming point is way up high. He just happens to get the face mask at the end. And that's, it's bad that you grab the face mask, but that's a good job of tackling.
79-yard kickoff return. Patton with the penalty. It'll be first down and goal for the Cowboys at the Giant 5. Cowboys opening up with 3 tight ends in the red zone. And here is Emmitt Smith diving forward to the 4-yard line. Jason Tucker, who set Dallas return records last week. And let's check the offense. Troy Aikman with a great decade, but is frustrated this season. Up front, Flozell Adams, 2 Pro Bowlers in Larry Allen and Eric Williams. And Emmitt Smith also heading again to the Pro Bowl. Robert Thomas, the fullback. Raghib Ismail and Jason Tucker, the wide receivers. And Tucker still trying to catch his breath.
He's tuckered out,
so to speak. Second and goal on the 4. And the handoff to Robert Thomas, the converted linebacker, moving into fullback, and that'll bring up third down and goal. Defensively for the Giants up front, Cedric Jones, Keith Hamilton, Christian Peter, and Michael Strahan. Jesse Armstead, along with Strahan, heading for the Pro Bowl. Corey Widmer, with his back injury, is starting at middle linebacker. And in the secondary, backup corners in Jeremy Lincoln and Conrad Hamilton. Sam Garnes and Percy Ellsworth are the safeties. And Armstead playing with an injured knee. 3rd and goal at the 3. Ismail goes in motion, and it's a handoff to Emmitt Smith, and he is stopped. And there you see the Giants holding, and that will force the Cowboys to attempt a field goal, and it was Armstead the first man in.
Well, this just goes back to what I said right at the start. This Dallas Cowboy team has turned into a running team. Now, I'm not too sure that this is the greatest play selection to start the game off, to be honest with you, and you could hear the displeasure of the crowd when they said it. But what it is, forget about the offense. That's good Giant defense. They controlled the line of scrimmage, and so they effectively have taken a very negative play and turned it into something to work off of right at the start of the game.
And they silenced the crowd dramatically with their defense. So Eddie Murray, the 43-year-old kicker coming out of retirement, makes good in a 20-yard field goal. And the Cowboys lead at 3-0, but the Giants prevented it from being 7. Dallas Cowboys leading 3-0. Tucker with a 79-yard kickoff return, and the Giant defense stiffens, and Eddie Murray kicking the field goal. And now the Giants will get the ball. David Patton, who made the play preventing the touchdown, back there along with rookie Bashir Livingston.
And that was a great play, because that right there at the start, that was a 4-point play.
And a 4-point penalty, so to speak, as the kick handled by Patton on the line drive variety from going, and Patton brings it out beyond the 30-yard line where the Giants will get the ball.
So many times, you're going to watch right down here, so many times you hear me talk about effort, because it doesn't take any talent. Watch this great effort. And I want you to watch the angles as they change. He's aiming here, he's aiming. Right there, he changes again. He flattens out a little bit more. That is tremendous effort to make a play that inevitably turned into only 3 instead of 7. That's a great play by Patton.
So the Giants, who have lost 2 in a row, their hopes were so high after beating the Jets and the Bills, but have dropped 2, will start from their 33. Kerry Collins on first down wings it to Greg Camella, the fullback, and Camella picking up a minimal gain out to the 36-yard line. The Giant offensive unit, and they've done it mostly through the air lately. Kerry Collins, 3-0 against the Cowboys. That is a member of the Carolina Panthers. Up front, Roman Oben. Mike Rosenthal, the rookie from Notre Dame, with Brian Williams back in action at center. Joe Montgomery starting despite injured ribs, in fact, fractured ribs. And the rest of the offense, especially Amani Toomer, having a career year.
And this guy right here is the guy who hurt him the last time, Tiki Barber, number 21. He's a concern for the Cowboys.
2nd down and 7. The pass swings out to Barber. Barber turning the corner, and Barber will get the first down as he is run out of bounds just shy of the 45-yard line by Deion Sanders, a pickup of 8 yards. For the Dallas Cowboys defensively, Ebenezer Ekubon, the #1 pick, starting his 2nd game at defensive end. Henning, Spellman, and Pittman up front, with Coakley heading for the Pro Bowl, and rightly so. Randall Godfrey banged up in the middle. Deion Sanders and Charlie Williams, the cornerbacks. Quentin Coriat, who is making his first start of the season, taken out of the game as Joe Montgomery on first down picks up 2.
Quentin Coriat had all 2 plays. He just did something to his hamstring right on that last play on Tiki Barber. And remember, I mentioned to you earlier, Tiki Barber, the last time they played, it was the difference in the game. And he beat him in a lot of underneath stuff. And so these Cowboys are very aware of what 21 can do. When he's in the game, they're going to know they have to jump their coverage for him underneath.
Almost single-handedly beat the Cowboys. Remember, the Cowboy defense held the Giants to only 2 offensive field goals. 2nd down and 8 at the 47 of New York. And the pressure is on. The screen pass to Barber. And Barber is tackled about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. And making the play was DeJuan Hawthorne, the rookie nickelback for Dallas.
You know, Chris Collinsworth in the pregame show was talking about this Dallas defense, and DeJuan Hawthorne is the one guy they were talking about because their secondary, that's the weak link. When you attack it, you go after the weakest guy. Now, that's not to say that Hawthorne's a bad player. What it is to say is that there are others who are better. So you just go to the least common denominator.
Kevin Mathis and Kevin Smith both out of action, so the Cowboys are thin. 3rd down and 2. And the running play to Montgomery, and Joe Montgomery, the rookie from Ohio State, picking up the 1st down and getting into the Cowboy territory after a pickup of 6. Williams and Hambrick on the stop.
Now what you saw was Montgomery being able to run sideways and get up the field, inevitable. What you may not have seen is that the giant right side of that offensive line behind Big Greg over there got a good push. Anytime you can start to run this way, you know that there's push going up the field. Then once he stretched it, he just used Howard Cross and got inside.
1st down at the 41, and this time the pass drilled out to Camella, and the fullback, who has had to play that spot with Charles Way out for the rest of the year, picks up 3 yards. Dexter Coakley defending.
You know, there's a lot of talk around the league about Deion Sanders, and the buzz is that, oh, Deion's not what he was. And I laugh when I see that and hear that, because when I watch the tape, the buzz may be that 21's not what he was, but nobody tries it. Now last week they went after him, and part of that was the rookie, I guess he's a rookie, Delhomme, didn't even know he wasn't supposed to do it.
Here is Montgomery with the carry, and in talking with Jim Fossil yesterday, Matt, he said the Giants will have no compunctions against going at Deion Sanders in this game.
Not only that, they wouldn't be afraid to try it.
That too.
But we'll wait and see. You know, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to go ahead and do it. Deion Sanders is, you know, at any one time in the league, there's only about maybe 4, maybe 5 great players in the league. Legitimately great players. Deion Sanders has been one of them for his whole career, really.
8th play of the drive. The Giants facing 3rd down and 3 on the Dallas 34. Out of the shotgun with Tiki Barber in the backfield. And Collins getting some time underneath to Barber, and Barber's going to be tackled, and a big play made by Dexter Coakley, preventing Barber from getting running room, and it'll be 4th down for the Giants.
Well done by Coakley. Well done, because what he'll do is he'll just settle off, and he's got his eyes on Barber. Now his responsibility is the middle of that underneath zone. The key to Tiki Barber is to close on him fast, and Coakley is probably the fastest linebacker in the National Football League. And he closes as good or better than anybody here.
4th down, and Brad Maynard will punt for the Giants at midfield. Deion Sanders, who is 3rd in the NFC in punt returns, is back. And the kick heading toward the corner, and the ball will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Cowboys 3, Giants nothing. Dallas ball when we return.
They just can't pull out close victories.
And I think he's in
that money.
I feel the need for greed.
Get ready for the richest week in television history.
$2 million.
Exactly right.
3 straight nights of greed.
He's gonna go!
Greed Fest begins Wednesday at 9 on Fox.
Well, John?
Yeah, well, let me tell you something, Pat. Sometimes it's, you know, you're right to be number 2. You see how bad we are. See, here's Pat and John. They want to be circled. They just kind of penciled us in once they heard it on the outside.
Yeah, right. Boy, most of the work went into Pat and John and Vic and Matt.
Heck, I like this to Pat and John, too.
Cowboys 1st down at the 20-yard line, leading 3-0. Midway through this 1st quarter, Troy Aikman going back to throw, and this pass is caught by Tucker and out of bounds. Conrad Hamilton defending, and a pickup of 15.
That's a nice job of being able to protect Aikman. And if you're going, you have to handle their best pass rusher. Here's Eric Williams working on Michael Strahan. Both these guys were looking forward to this matchup. But because Williams wins his battle, he's able to take the time to make that throw, and Tucker beats Hamilton.
Tucker last week had 7 catches for 128 yards and his first career touchdown. 1st down for Dallas on the 35. Emmitt Smith is hit and thrown for the loss. Jesse Armstead with another good defensive play.
Dick, remember right at the start of the game we were talking about playing when the game did. That guy will play no matter what. It can be tiddlywinks, it can be checkers, it doesn't matter. Jesse Armstead understands what it takes, and I love his mindset, and I always have, because the game means something to him. It always does, and he plays with great passion.
Cowboys, if they win, will go into the playoffs as a wild card. The Giants eliminated for all intents and purposes. Second down and 11. Troy Aikman stepping up, and his pass is caught by Chris Brazzell. And Brazzell, the former Jet, with a good catch, gets into Giant territory and picks up 20 yards on the play. Hamilton was defending it.
The whole key again is protection. Watch the headbutt, patented headbutt by Eric Williams. Boom. Michael Strahan saw it, and he was expecting it, but he just couldn't quite duck it in time. And again, the time by Aikman, and he's right on the money, just like what we said at the beginning. If Troy Aikman is what he's supposed to be, he'll be the difference.
With Michael Irvin out for the season, of course, and Ernie Mills not playing today, we are seeing the likes of Tucker and Brazzell show what they can do. First down at the 47, and the toss up the middle, incomplete, intended for the tight end, David LaFleur.
Nice close there by Sam Garnes. Safety for the Giants. And the one thing about this Giant defense, when you take a step back, Dick, and you look at it, the one thing that they really lack is defensive speed. Really team speed all the way around. They could use some team speed. Where that usually shows up is in your linebackers and your safeties.
And I think they want to address that during the offseason, either in free agent pickups or in the draft, or both. Second down and 10 at the 47. And Aikman stepping up, nowhere to go, flips it out on the screen to Emmitt Smith. He gets by one defender, and Emmitt Smith, with a great bit of running, gets a first down for the Cowboys inside the 35. A gain of 14 yards.
That was, your eyes didn't deceive you. That was Christian Peter who was dropped out of there. They're going to bring Jesse Armstead off the corner, and they're going to drop out of there Christian Peter from the inside. You can see him right here. He takes a step. Now he's responsible for closing inside. This is not, that's actually not a bad job. That is really hard to do. You have a 300-pounder on Emmitt Smith, chances are you're going to lose.
Cowboys on the Giant 33, leading 3-0, and a good catch by Ismail. And close to another first down for the Dallas Cowboys, who are 6-1 here at Texas Stadium this year, and a chance to achieve their best home record since 1981, when they were 8-0 here.
Well, consistency's got to be the key for these Dallas Cowboys offensively, because right now Aikman's on. He's throwing like Troy Aikman throws. And if they keep this pace, and obviously it's the first quarter, 4 minutes left, but if they keep that pace, that's going to be a tough combo to beat.
Very crisp are his passes, you're right. There you see the Cowboys with a 2nd and 1. Mike Lucky in motion. Tight end number 84, and here is Emmitt Smith turning the corner. First down. Corrals him at the 18-yard line, but the Cowboys moving, and they started from their 20.
Always one of the keys of a good running back is to be patient at full speed. The great ones have it. And that time was a good example of that. Everett McIver had pulled out of there. And so the key is to be going at a pace where you can allow your guard to make the play for you and then burst off of it.
Third in the NFC with over 1,200 yards. This despite missing 9 quarters of action with a fractured hand and a groin injury. First and 10 at the 17. Emmitt Smith looking for running room, and Garnes comes up to give him a pop after a pickup of about 4.
It's a second play consecutively that Garnes has made the tackle, and it's the second consecutive play where Emmitt ran the same play, and I like that. I think what's happening in today's football is offensive coordinators and play callers get so smart, almost to the point of their own detriment. When things are good, run it. Run it until they stop it. If they can't stop it, run it down their throat.
So far, the Cowboys have done that with a big edge in yardage. Second down and 6. Chris Warren has come in at running back, and Aikman's pass is caught by David LaFleur. LaFleur has a first down at the 6-yard line with Widmer making the tackle. And the Green Bay Packers have won their game against Arizona. That is a final.
You know, Howie Long was talking about the absence of the tight end in the Dallas offense. And what he's talked about in the pregame was exactly what people down here are still talking about, that they still haven't replaced Jay Novacek. I mean, come on already. It's like 95 or 6 was the last time he played.
7 touchdowns, the most for a tight end in many years for the Cowboys. First and goal at the 6, and the pass overthrown, and it was intended for Jason Tucker. So with the Packers winning, the Giants are eliminated. Now there is some bizarre point total situation, but that's not going to happen today with the Cowboys winning by a huge margin today, and even for Carolina winning big over New Orleans. It looks as if the Cowboys with a win will get in as the wild card, and if not, it'll be the Green Bay Packers who are the 6th team. Second and goal at the 6. And here is Chris Warren. And Warren just getting inside the 5-yard line. Corey Whitmer on the stop, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Dick, if you're sitting at home and you're watching this game and you're wondering why you're not getting any pressure, why don't they blitz? Well, it's a delicate balance if you're John Fox, a defensive coordinator, because the people you have in your secondary, you can't afford to leave them man-to-man. Now, you're going to have to roll the bones every now and then. But for the most part, you're going to have to protect them with coverage. You know, part of calling defense is stopping the offense. The other part is not hurting yourself.
3rd and goal at the 4. And Aikman looking to throw. And he goes underneath and nearly intercepted by Whitmer. Corey Whitmer had it in his hands at the goal line and could not hold on to it, so that'll bring up 4th down. And so for the 2nd time in this first quarter, the Giants facing 1st and goal in the red zone stop the Cowboys.
Again, an excellent job by the coverage of the New York Giants. He tried to look inside. You saw what happened there. There's Jason Tucker on the outside. Again, this is what we're talking about. This is defending yourself as well. Hamilton, and they're using their help. That's excellent, excellent defense.
Eddie Murray, who was a sideline reporter for the Lions radio broadcast and signed early December with his 2nd field goal, this from 21 yards out. His first was from 20, and the Cowboys settling for 2 field goals when it looked as if they were going to go in for 2 touchdowns. 6-0 Cowboys. Christian Peter being worked on the bench. Remember, he replaced Robert Harris, who was finished for the year late in October with a sprained ankle and a fractured leg. So the Giants fighting injuries, especially on the defensive end all year. There's the scoring drive as the Cowboys went 80 yards to get 3. Toby Goen will kick off. David Patton and Bashir Livingston are back deep. That is Patton. And this kick going deeper than the first attempt, and it's Livingston, the rookie with a world of speed, and he fights his way out to the 22-yard line where Wendell Davis makes the stop. So a timeout, less than a minute remaining in the first quarter. The Cowboys 6, the Giants nothing.
Personal foul signaled against the Titans.
Back at Texas Stadium, Dick Stockton, Matt Millen, and Pam Oliver as the Cowboys leading 6-0, and the Giants starting from the 23-yard line. Kerry Collins on the handoff to Joe Montgomery, and Montgomery gets to about the 26-yard line, and Michael Myers and Pepe Zellner along with Brandon Noble and Leon Letts. So Dave Campo going with his backup defensive front right now on this series.
Well, what they like to do, Dick, is they just like to rotate them in and out. They like to keep them fresh because you have, all 4 quarters, all of them play at a pretty decent level.
There's Alonzo Spellman, who has played on more than a decent level all season. Pressure on Collins, and this pass caught by Greg Camella, and Camella getting extra yards, gets into Cowboy territory on a great play as Camella getting downfield, picking up 26 yards on the play, and Deion Sanders missing the fullback in the process.
Well, he picked up about another 8 yards after he just kind of spun off of Deion Sanders.
And that is the end of the first quarter with the score, the Cowboys 6 and the Giants nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue right after these messages. Part of the second quarter here at Texas Stadium, and of course the Dallas Cowboys with golden opportunity to have a 14-0 lead. Now only 6 in the Giants with the ball.
Well, to me, it's Giant defense, because the defense has toughened up, particularly down along the goal line, and held them to 6 points instead of 2 big touchdowns like you mentioned.
Christian Peter, suffering from dizziness, is going inside. Meanwhile, Kerry Collins on first down has a lot of time, but he overthrows Amani Toomer, who is double covered downfield.
We talked about that defense, Dick. And this is what they had. This is in that last series. When the Cowboys marched right down the field, when they had to have it, with that field shrunk up, they played tough pass defense and they played tough run defense. But it all comes down to the third down. When you have to make the play, their coverage was all over it, and they made them settle for 3. They're only a play away from being ahead of this game.
Giants beat the Cowboys back in the middle of October at Giant Stadium, 13-10. Second down and 10, and there is Joe Montgomery, who picks up about 3 on the play. Right now, let's go down to Pam Oliver.
All right, Dick, there was a flurry of activity surrounding Christian Peter a little while ago. First, I saw the Giants training staff taking his pulse. Then paramedics came to attend to him. Now Peter has been taken to the locker room because of a rapid heartbeat. Again, it's been taken to the locker room because of a rapid heartbeat. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. Giants with a 3rd down and 6 coming up in the 44. So
I think we were talking earlier about rotating. Now they're back to their first rotation that they started the game with up front.
4 wide receivers line up, and as the play clock winds down, Kerry Collins calls timeout. We'll be right back.
That's Greg Camella with his helmet on, and what he's doing is he's hiding his nice artwork. He's a warrior, and he's got the face like the warrior, but really that's what that is smeared because the league a few years ago took all that stuff out. John Randall used to get war paint.
Yes, he did.
And they got rid of that. Camella found a way around it.
So far today, 3 catches for 33 yards, and the Giants now with a 3rd and 6 on the Cowboy 44, and the pass caught by Hilliard. Now it is ruled a reception, but close to the first down marker as the ball came flying out, Matt.
That is a very, very generous spot. Extremely healthy. His feet went out right about down here. But remember, it's where the ball is when the feet go out. That's a good spot by the official. Very good spot. Watch him right at the end. Watch him lean right there. That's a good job by the official. It's where the ball is when he went out.
And it's a first down.
Watch the ball. Very well done. Very well done. They're going to stop it, and it may be that they're going to buzz this one and challenge it.
Ike Hilliard, who along with Toomer, a chance to go over 1,000 yards in receiving yardage for the Giants. First time ever, and Chan Gailey talking to the referee Ron Blum.
See, they're going to challenge. The only thing he would challenge is if that ball came out and it is a fumble. If it's fumbled as it goes out, then it has to go back to the point of where he went out. That is an excellent job. My own personal thing, and I'm 3 for 19, Dick. I'm really tearing it up this year, but I would say that play will stay.
And you know what? If you're wrong, you're right. You'll be 4 for 20.
Not bad, huh?
The fact that the pass was complete.
20%.
And as you pointed out, Matt, the question is, was the pass complete? Did he have possession of the ball?
Oh, I think that's not the case. He has completion. I mean,
took a couple of steps.
He has possession of that. You know, I think the one thing that's happened with this whole process, there's possession and there's the ball coming forward. I think that play stands as called. But the one thing that's happened in this whole process of the challenge, I think it's ironed itself out. I think we have a better process now than we did even at the halfway point of the season. And I think there are a number of factors for that. I think the coaches have learned when they're going to do it and how to do it. I think the officials have adapted it to what they're going to do. And I also will say that we're still not there yet with this system. It's still continuing the process.
But a lot closer than a lot of people thought it would be when this thing started in preseason.
I personally like it. And there's been some bad calls and you shake your head, but at least it's something where you have an opportunity to correct something where last year we didn't even.
Hey, if you can correct one play, then it's worth it.
Sure, ask Seattle last year with Vinny.
When they ruled a touchdown by the Jets against Seattle, and you know, that cost the Seahawks, might have cost Erickson a job as the head coach of the team.
Dick, speaking of the Jets who won today against those same Seahawks, my own personal opinion, this might be the best coaching job I've seen Bill Parcells do, because they took all this stuff away and they came back and they're a pretty good team right now.
After reviewing the play, the challenge is not upheld. It is a completed pass. The ruling on the field stands. Dallas is charged a timeout.
I am 4 for 20.
4 for 20.
I'm doing great.
You know, the only problem is, Matt, this is the final game of the regular season. I don't think you're going to get up to 500.
Finally got it down.
So the Giants get a first down on the 38-yard line of the Cowboys, and Kerry Collins making his 7th start of the year, 3-0 against the Cowboys in his career, handing off to Montgomery. And Montgomery dives forward as a flag comes flying. Montgomery down at the 35, and Camella and Coakley going at it briefly.
I like both those guys. That Coakley's a tough little guy.
And it'll be holding called against the Giants.
Holding, 72 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's Roman Oben, and now you're getting to the point where the Giants could be moved out of field goal range, which is long at this point.
You're gonna watch Roman Oben working right there. Well, I guess they're going to call that.
They did. So it'll be first down and 20 back on the Cowboy 48. Joe Juravicius in the game at wide receiver. Tiki Barber getting the call and ducks underneath. And Barber gets to the 45-yard line. And a small gain. Well, get ready for Greed Fest. That's 3 nights of TV's richest game show. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The only network television game show that can give away over $2 million. Greed Fest, the 3-night event, starts Wednesday at 9/8 Central on Fox.
I kind of like that show. I thought it was a good show.
Well, you know, Terry Bradshaw almost won $2 million on the Terry Awards on our pregame show, which was hilarious today.
He went ahead and he said the name he wouldn't
That's
say.
right. 2nd and 17. The name was Jimmy Kimmel, by the way. Kerry Collins getting a rush, and he dumps it off, and Hilliard making the grab, and another flag goes down at midfield. DeJuan Hawthorne making the play on Hilliard, and we'll have another flag, this one against the Giants.
Going backwards.
Holding, 72 offense, 10 yards, repeat second
What
down.
does that tell you, Matt? Roman Oben called for 2 holding penalties on this series.
Well, it either tells you that Roman Oben can't handle it. What it really does is it tells you that Ebenezer Ekibon up top is getting better. That's a nice move, nice spin move. Well, you know what? Both of them are kind of right on the edge. But Ekibon has gotten better. The rookie runs well. He's not a real big guy. I thought he played very well last week against New Orleans. And he's brought his best game here today.
And replacing Greg Ellis out for the season, who's had a big year before he got hurt. 2nd down and 30, and here is Collins overthrowing Brian Alford. And that will bring up 3rd and 30 for the Giants early here in the 2nd quarter. Jim Fossil, whose team won the NFC East 2 years ago, finished 8-8 last year and needing a victory today to again finish at 500. But it looked so rosy for the Giants a couple of weeks ago when they were 5-6, winning 2 games, but then dropping games to the Rams and the Vikings in a thorough fashion the last 2 weeks.
I don't know. Here's Sean Payton here to play call. I don't think there's any play on that list that gets you a 3rd and 30.
Collins dumps it off on the screen to Barber, and Barber is tripped up. And that was that win. Very impressive rookie from Texas A&M, holding Barber to 4 yards, and the Giants will have to kick.
Nicely done by Wynn, and a nice defense by the Cowboys. In that case, you're going to let it. You're going to take away everything down the field and force you to throw underneath. And then it's just you have to rally to the football, make the play.
So Brad Maynard will be kicking it away, and Deion Sanders back deep. Pretty mighty record in his career as a kick returner. He's standing at the 10. Maynard gets a high kick out of it away from Dion, and the kick will go in for the touchback.
It's okay,
The Universe Supernova, rated PG-13, and by Dr. Pepper in your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better.
Cowboys with a chance to win and make the playoffs, leading 6-0. First down at the 20 for Dallas. Michael Strahan going to the bench. Bernard Holsey, number 79, replaces him, and Ryan Hale, the rookie, in for Christian Peter, who's in the locker room suffering from dizzy spells. First down and 10. Troy Aikman going underneath to Emmitt Smith, and Smith got by Corey Whitmer and picks up 5 on the play. Well, the Dallas Cowboys started the season in spectacular fashion with an overtime win over the Redskins, and then Michael Irvin with a neck injury, and the air seemed to go out of the balloon of the Dallas Cowboys, but they hung in there. Troy Aikman frustrated, but Emmitt Smith having a big year, and then of course the big stumble down the stretch, losing to the Jets and then New Orleans. And of course for Jerry Jones, he's about to make some changes in this organization after the season, playoffs or no. Second down and 5, and here is Emmitt Smith breaking one and getting the first down out to the 32-yard line. And right now for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles. JB.
Well, let's take a look at how Oakland knocked Kansas City out of the playoffs. This 33-yard field goal by former Miami kicker Joe Medney. What that in effect does, it now gives Seattle the AFC West title. They will be the 3rd seed in the AFC. And the wild card picture shows Tennessee, Buffalo, and Miami is in. Let's take it back to you and Matt.
All right, JB, thank you very much. First down for the Cowboys, and Emmitt Smith gaining some yards up the middle. So after Seattle loses to the Jets, they too get a reprieve, as these Cowboys have, and end up winning the division.
Who would have ever believed it? I know one thing I'd believe, the way Emmitt Smith is running right now, the interior of that offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys is blocking very, very well. That time they just took Hamilton, the inside defensive tackle. They took him for a ride on the double team.
All even in play selection for the Cowboys thus far. Second down and 3, play action. Troy Aikman getting a rush, and the pass up the middle, and it's nearly intercepted by Sam Garnes, and it was intended for Ismail. That was almost up for grabs.
Well, and he had to get rid of it because they came with some pressure. Remember I said you have to roll the bones every now and then? Here comes Jesse Armstead off the corner. And a nice job by Emmitt Smith, who's not only running well, but picking up his protections well. And that forced Aikman to step to the side and actually misthrow this ball. The ball had been thrown out here. They had a chance to get to it.
Emmitt Smith goes out, but Deion Sanders is in as a wide receiver, wide to the left.
On Jeremy Lincoln.
With 4 wide receivers.
And no safety help behind him. See if he uses his speed to beat him deep.
Third down and 3, looking Deion's way, and the pass underneath, and it is caught. It's a first down to Jeff Ogden, number 85. So Deion perhaps used as a decoy on that possession.
Of course, it's exactly what he was. They used him to just vacate that area and clear it. You're going to take him, they're going to just take him and run him off. And because they run him off, Ogden can then run his route into the vacated area right here. You just run the out. That's good team offense. Good conception.
So Deion goes out of the game, and a conventional offensive formation now for the Cowboys. First down on their 45, and here is Emmitt Smith again. Hard running Emmitt Smith racing for the end zone. And Percy Ellsworth, with only one chance to trip him up, does. But not before a 46-yard gain for the Cowboys.
And not before he gets an excellent blocking job up front. There's MacGyver. Nice job by Thomas right there. Eric Williams does a good job. Bjornson's on him. And then he's into the secondary. And here's the Achilles heel right now of Emmitt. Because Percy Ellsworth doesn't run very well, but Percy Ellsworth caught him from behind. Good hustle by Ellsworth. Big Eric Williams working on Strahan. Strahan goes down. Heck, that looks like it would be a takedown, too.
45-yard gain for Emmitt Smith. And here is Chris Warren, and no gain there. Imagine in the last time these teams played, The Dallas Cowboys gained 24 yards on 25 attempts. That's minus rushing yardage when they played in October, and a far different story on the ground today.
Well, they got that offensive line humming pretty well, particularly that right side. They've been going after behind Eric Williams and Everett McIver, along with Stepnoski in the middle.
Cowboys, though, in 2 trips to the red zone prior to this, have had to settle for field goals. 2nd down and goal from the 9, and the pass is caught by LaFleur, and he is wrestled down as the Giants try to strip the ball away. He is down at the 4. Ryan Hale right in the middle of that play, so that will bring up 3rd and goal.
Position they've been in twice before, and twice they've had to settle for field goals because of been good Giant defense.
And the 9th play of the drive coming up, and the big one, of course, was Emmitt Smith cracking one for 45 yards. Ball is at the 4. And Aikman's pass is caught. Touchdown to Rocket Ismail. And Dallas finally gets it in.
Funny thing, they brought Ismail back underneath, and Corey Whitmer saw him. He kind of slowed, and then he jumped him again. He hit another gear and went inside. Watch, you're going to steer right all the way down inside. He stopped. Whitmer even saw him, but when he stopped the first time, he couldn't redirect, and then Aikman found him.
So Rocket Ismail, who has not had productive days the last 2 weeks, grabbing this touchdown catch. Eddie Murray with the extra point. And the Cowboys now lead it by a score of 13-0 over the Giants with 6:35 to go in the 2nd. Emmitt Smith on the left, who has gained 70 yards in 8 carries, and Rocket Ismail, who caught his 6th touchdown catch of the year on an exciting drive for the Dallas Cowboys, who lead it by a score of 13-0. Emmitt Smith 64 total yards, and for Troy Aikman, a lead to work with now, as the Cowboys, knowing a victory, puts them into the NFC playoff derby. Toby going end over end on the kickoff. Bashir Livingston, returning for the Giants, spins away from a defender and is down at the 24-yard line. 19-yard return by Livingston, but it's been Emmitt's show so far for the Cowboys.
This is what's affectionately known as the wedge in the kickoff return. And here's the center of the wedge. And what you do is you pick out one guy and you run right through him. Now, if you're running down, this is Dat Win, and he goes in to the wedge and he goes right back out, not quite sure knowing where the heck he is when he got up.
I think he knows where he is now, and of course his special team tackles leads the Dallas Cowboys.
He's pretty good too. He's a good player. Texas A&M guy. They played a bowl game, didn't they? Who did they play again? I forget.
First down at the 24. We'll look it up for you. Hand off to Joe Montgomery, and nothing doing, maybe a 2-yard gain on the play. And that was Pepe Zellner. Zellner along with Ekubon making their marks as rookies on the defensive line for the Cowboys this season.
The other person on that defense, who I think has had an excellent game, an excellent year rather, for the Dallas Cowboys, right in the middle, number 56. That's Randall Godfrey. Every time I watched him play, he has played extremely well. Been around the football, made a lot of tackles. Dexter Coakley has played well, but Godfrey, I think he's played outstanding.
And he's playing today with a stiff back, game time decision, but he's in there. 2nd down and 10, and the pass, and a great one-handed catch, and a flag goes down. Howard Cross, the Giant tight end. And the flag is down. Hambrick on the hit.
Pass interference, 87 offense.
Well, it's not going to go as Cross pushed off, apparently. He finds it hard to believe, but the flag will go against the blue-shirted Giants. Cowboys came in as the most penalized team in the NFL, but the Giants are bearing the brunt of the flags thus far today.
Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
You know, Dick, lost in all this is there hasn't been a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Cowboys haven't really gotten a lot of pressure on Kerry Collins. But they have had excellent coverage down the field.
That's been their key, and that is with a depleted secondary as well. They have had problems, or given Collins some problems. By the way, Darren Hambrick has been in at outside linebacker, strong side for Quentin Coriat, who went in with a strained left hamstring. And there you see Kerry Collins, who has had to hurry and was hit a couple of times, facing 3rd down and 10. And here is pressure on Collins, and this pass caught by Tiki Barber. And Barber found the seam and makes the catch, goes out of bounds after picking up a 1st down, 21 yards.
Well, that was well thrown, and a nice job by Barber to be able to find that seam that you're talking about. Right behind the corner, Dwan Hawthorne, and right in front of the safety, Singer Mobley. See him coming in right at the end. That's the weakness of the zone. If you can get to that, you can make yourself a play. It was well thrown by Collins.
Giants with a 1st down on their 45. Trailing 13-0. And on the draw, Joe Montgomery dives to midfield.
Number 25, Joe Montgomery on the carry.
As we wind down to 5 minutes remaining in the 1st half.
See where they're throwing the football. They're throwing to the running backs underneath, and that's the majority of what we talked about. And Sean Payton, the play caller, he's aware of it too. So, you know, the Cowboys are aware of Tiki Barber underneath. Sean Payton also knows that that's a guy who can make plays.
Here is Montgomery, who breaks 1 tackle and gets close to the 1st down. Sean Payton, who learned his trade in the 2 years as quarterback coach under John Gruden in Philadelphia. And the one thing he said, John Gruden always told him, make sure when the game is over, you got the ball in the hands of the right people enough time.
Yeah, that goes along with what we're just saying. When you look at that graphic, you see they're throwing it underneath. What that's telling you is that they believe that their best playmaker is 21 as well. Toomer's another one they have to get the ball into his hands. Just watching Sean Payton call the games. He's learning. It's a process, and he's learning also how to call. I think he's pretty good. He has a pretty good feel.
Short of the 1st down, and it was right before the Jet game when Jim Fossil decided to hand over the play calling duties, as he says, dial it up, to Sean Payton, who did that duty in the first preseason game. Jim Fossil suffering the death of his mother, and it was a very strange week with Michael Strahan speaking out against the coach, and because of his criticism of Jesse Armstead as the defense had some critical marks of the offense, but all that seemed to have worked out.
You know, the one thing about Sean Payton that's interesting, I think it's easier to call when it doesn't say head coach Sean Payton. When it says head coach Jim Fossil, it's easier to
dial it up.
You got it.
3rd down and 1. Montgomery in motion to the left. And on 3rd and 1, in trouble, and the pass is incomplete. And Alonzo Spellman putting on the pressure. Mark Thomas was the intended receiver, but Spellman, the former Bear, who's had his career resurrected this season with great pressure on Collins, bringing up 4th and 1.
Yeah, now this is one of those situations you can watch Spellman right inside. Just abuses Rosenthal, the rookie, runs right over him. But this is one of those things we're talking about right now. You have nothing to lose. You're out of the playoffs, so you go for it on 4th down. Why wouldn't you?
Giants need a yard, and the running play, the extra effort by Joe Montgomery, gets the Giants the 1st down at the 44-yard line. Joe Montgomery playing with cracked ribs, and he has been fighting the injuries all season long.
Well, his whole career, really.
Hamstring in camp, a broken foot later on, and of course at Ohio State.
Yeah. But I want you to watch this. Dexter Coakley right here is going to read this and hit Camella in the backfield and force the running back, Montgomery, boom, right there. He forces him to redirect. That is extremely well done. And it's also a good job by Montgomery to redirect, and then with the extra effort, get that 1st down.
Matt, on the field right now, Brian Williams, who has missed 3 games. As you look at Coakley, who has a great future, and you wonder about Brian Williams, who has a knee injury, gamely trying to make it today. We'll be right back.
In the matchup breakdown,
Plus, check out the complete playoff scenario. Just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com. Second down, 9.
Defense. Dan Marino, the quarterback.
Denson, right side. 40, 45, and out of bounds at about the 47 or 48-yard line. Here's a confidence builder.
Well, it is. Autry Denson showing some speed and quickness. But again, good blocking by the Miami offensive line. Donnelly, good job, gets out, seals it, then Autry Denson takes advantage of it.
5 possessions in this game so far for the Miami Dolphins, and Dan Marino, the most prolific passer in football, has started all 5 of those possessions with a running play. From the 47. Fake to Denson this time. Marino time, throws, and has his man. Gadsden inside the 35, inside the 30 to the 27-yard line.
You know what's happening in this league? We always say this league is about
Tomorrow, it's a full hour of That 70s Show.
You're way prettier than Bowie.
Well, I'm prettier than you. A special night tomorrow at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Brian Williams, who made a courageous comeback from an eye injury, now on the sidelines. He and Howard Cross, one of 5 Giants who have played in 3 separate decades by playing today. Joe Montgomery on 1st and 10 from the 43, picking up about 4 yards on 1st down.
I always enjoyed watching Brian Williams play the whole time. And it was it's amazing that he came back to play now off that eye injury like you mentioned. But he was right on the cusp of being one of the best centers in the league. And they ended up getting hurt. But he's always played with great intensity. He's a real smart player. They really missed him when he went out of it.
Derek Engler, who's been in there in place of him when he's been hurt, is the center right here on 2nd down and 6 on the Dallas 39. Collins on the screen pass. Pamela trying to grab hold of that bobbled ball, slipped and picks up a yard, bringing up a 3rd down and about 5.
Pamela just wasted an opportunity right there. He had blockers out in front of him and nobody around him. If he'd just snagged it first before he took off and ran, he'd have got himself a 1st down.
3rd down and 5 at the 38, and Brian Williams has gone back in at center for the Giants. Giants, who on 4th down and 1 went for it moments ago to keep the drive going. Now we'll have a chance to talk things over. The 2-minute warning here at Texas Stadium with the Cowboys in front, 13-0.
Very many carries. When you get a touchdown, you think, come on, Brad, let me have the touchdown. You took my touchdown away. Lorenzo Neal will have to come off now. You'll see right here, set number 72, right there, falling down inside the tackle. When you start falling around and falling down inside there in the tackle, unless your hands are behind your back, they almost always call you for holding.
Over the hold, it's an illegal block, but it's called holding. And here is the handoff, and running hard and going in is Rodney Thomas. So they get at the right side of the Steelers defense.
To love the guy who coaches them. Mike Wallace scrimmages with Bill Parcells tonight.
Hey, everybody. This is Jim. Look, DirecTV's got all your favorite cable channels. Plus, now you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Stars, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitment. DirecTV, what are you looking at?
Just when you think you have the latest computer, you don't. But for $37 a month, get an Intel Pentium 3 processor and a free color printer with the Gateway PC. And with the YourWare program, trade it in toward the purchase of a new one after 2 years. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
Before Rob Schneider was Deuce Bigelow, he was the world's worst blind date.
What about personality?
Great. Get one.
Ally McBeal, tomorrow at 9/8 Central.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris. Scores and highlights from around the league, and our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. 2-minute warning. 3rd down and 5 for the Giants on the Cowboy 38. 3 times the Giants have been in Dallas territory, and they've come up empty. Here's the pressure, and the pass is deflected. They sent everybody, and 2 linemen and a linebacker came storming in on Kerry Collins, forcing 4th down, and it was Kavika Pittman, one of those 3.
Yeah, I believe Pittman is the guy who got his hand up there and knocked that ball away. Pittman came clean. Yeah, he got his hand up and tipped it and threw the ball to the inside. If you're wondering how a guy comes so clean, it's about numbers. If you're blocking with 3, they bring 4 to that side.
So Brad Maynard will kick. The Giants have had their chances. They've been in the Dallas territory on 3 occasions, but have not even been able to attempt a field goal. Deion Sanders inside the 10-yard line. This kick kicked away from Deion and out of bounds, and they will mark it close to the 10-yard line. The 12. Well, tonight, kick back and let Fox entertain you on the first Sunday of the millennium with King of the Hill and a special hour of The Simpsons, followed by a bizarre alien encounter on the X-Files tonight on Fox. Happy New Year to you, Matt Millen.
Why, thank you, Mr. Stockton.
The Dallas Cowboys trying to finish the season at 8-8, and there'll be 2 teams 8-8 making the playoffs in the NFC, as the Detroit Lions, losing today, will go in with that record as well. Kerry Collins and Jim Fossil talking it over as the Cowboys come out in a pass offense. 1st down on the 12. Chris Warren is the setback. Aikman stepping up, and the pass is knocked away, incomplete. Jason Tucker, and good coverage by Conrad Hamilton. And if you're wondering about teams that were 8-8, there have been 3 previous occasions. The Cleveland Browns back in '85, the Saints in 1990, and the Jets in 1991. 2 of those teams losing in the wild card, and the Browns losing in the divisional playoffs. And of course the Detroit Lions finishing 8-8 this year. And the winner, or I should say the Cowboys, if they win, will also be 8-8 in postseason. 2nd and 10. Warren on the handoff. Chris Warren. And gets the Cowboys out of trouble. And a gain of 25 yards before he was run out of bounds by Percy Ellsworth.
And again, they're running along that right side. Chris Warren just has lots of room. You don't see any blue shirts in there. They just blew a hole open along that right side. Now when you see who's finishing this play, it's not Ellsworth. That's Warren. If he's going down, he's making sure Ellsworth's going with him.
And Warren, we understand, in the game because Emmitt Smith went to the locker room with dehydration. So Warren, the back, at 1st down on the 37. Out of the shotgun now is Troy Aikman. Aikman underneath to Ismail, who caught the touchdown pass, short of the 1st down by about 5. And a tackle made by Ryan Phillips.
You know, Michael Strahan was looking forward to his battle with Eric Williams, but Eric Williams is getting the better of him. That wasn't a bad rush by Strahan. He got some power on him, but Eric Williams has been putting his big head on him all day long.
2nd and 5. That's a 1st down. Pass and catch by Ismail. And the clock stops as they get into the Giant territory in a gain of 11. Cowboys, keep in mind, have 2 timeouts remaining, having lost one by virtue of a failed challenge in the 1st quarter.
Eric Williams is the one Pro Bowler on that offensive line, and Larry Allen is the other. Now Larry Allen is the better, he's probably the best offensive lineman in the league. But when Eric Williams held that mantle, he was very, very physical. He moved a little bit better. Since he had that car accident, his knee's not quite what it was.
1st down from the 47, and the quick out to Warren, out of bounds, and a pickup of about 6 yards on the play.
Dick, remember at the start of the game we talked about Troy Aikman and how he had to throw the ball effectively. Now, you look at these numbers, you can see he's completing very, very well, and he's got the yards, he's got the touchdown, but they haven't pushed the ball down the field. It's the one thing they haven't done. The majority of their throwing has been 15 yards and under.
Nonetheless, 205 total yards by the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith a big part of that. And Aikman has completed passes to 7 different receivers thus far. 2nd and 4, Aikman's toss, and it's caught by Jeff Ogden. Ogden gets open. He's one of those speedy reserves that the Cowboys have. And a pickup of 22 yards before Sean Williams makes the tackle inside the Giant 20.
Well, that wasn't going to happen without protection, and Chris Warren did a good job of protecting to the top side. And then Aikman just stepped in through. And this is as sharp as I've seen Aikman in a while. Again, he's getting the protection he needs. You can see right there, Warren, nice job done on the top on Phillips. It allows him to step up, and there's nobody around Troy Aikman.
And a timeout called by the Cowboys. And when we earlier talked about Jerry Jones, Terry Bradshaw said on the pregame show, and that will be fact, that after the season, Jerry Jones, Chan Gailey, and Troy Aikman will sit down and talk about really changing an offense. And Jerry Jones made it clear this week that he is behind Troy Aikman and what is comfortable for Troy Aikman, and that Chan Gailey is going to have to adjust to what is best for Troy Aikman. And that is an interesting scenario that could develop after the season is over, but Jerry Jones has made it clear who the priority is here.
Well, if you want to have real priority and you're talking about the offense, they need more players. They need a legitimate guy. Since they lost Michael Irvin, it hasn't been as good, and he's not what he was.
First down on the 19-yard line. The Cowboys with 1 timeout remaining, and Aikman going for it all, and it's dropped. Jason Tucker had a touchdown in his hands and dropped it.
It doesn't get any better than that from Aikman. That ball was perfectly thrown. He threw it so that Tucker could eat it. Watch the route. One's clearing, one underneath, and then Tucker, look at this, right in the kisser. Well, again, well protected. Aikman has lots of time, just step and throw. It's like there's not much pressure here.
That was vintage Aikman.
That was beautiful.
But it's incomplete. 2nd down and 10, and pressure on Aikman, and this pass caught by Chris Warren. And a pickup of nearly 5 yards. Scott Gallion making the tackle for the Giants, and the clock stopping now with 42 seconds remaining in the first half.
And if you're a Giant fan and you're sitting at home and you're saying, why aren't they getting any pressure on them? John Fox, he's dialing up some blitzes. He came with a blitz that time, but Aikman's seeing it. The receivers are breaking it off. And when they're not, they're getting picked up. So I think it's more of the fact you have to credit the Cowboys because they're playing really well.
9th play of this drive, 4 wideouts for Dallas, 3rd and 6. Underneath, close to the first down, is Ismail. And very close to it, and the spot will say it all, but the clock continues to run with 30 seconds to go.
That's short.
4th down and less than a yard, Matt.
That's short. That was a good tackle.
And now they're going to measure, stopping the clock at 29 seconds to go in the half. The Cowboys still with a timeout in their pocket and leading 13-0.
That's going to be short. You got a timeout. You got 30 seconds.
There you see Chan Gailey.
Get the first.
Run the play, call a timeout.
Absolutely.
Well, they're not going to run anything. They're going to call the timeout now. So the Cowboys use their 3rd and final timeout. 29 seconds remaining in the first half. The Cowboys, with a victory today, would get into the Super Bowl tournament. And of course, next weekend is Wild Card Weekend. Next Sunday on Fox, we'll have an NFC Wild Card playoff game for you. Check your local listings, and don't know, of course, who will be matched up in that game.
Well, what you'll have are the 3 wild card teams and the lowest seeded division winner.
Right. which right now are the Washington Redskins.
The Skins. And of course, the highest seeded division, the division winner will get the lowest seeded of the wild card teams, which could be this Dallas Cowboy team. And the Dallas Cowboy team has beaten them twice this season.
That would make it an intriguing renewal of a great rivalry next weekend. Eddie Murray aboard to attempt a 27-yard field goal. He is 2 for 2 this afternoon. And Murray's kick is good. And the Cowboys have stretched their lead to 16-0 over the New York Giants with 25 seconds remaining in the first half. Here is the NFC wild card picture. Matt mentioned that Rams, the Bucks, and the Redskins, the division leaders and division winners. Minnesota would be in the 4th slot. Detroit is in the 5th slot, and the Cowboys need to win today to get into the 6th slot. If the Cowboys do not win, the Green Bay Packers would get in as the 8-8 team in the number 6 position. So you know what team Ray Rhodes is rooting for now, but his wish for the Giants down 16-0.
Well, just looking at it, you can see, and if this game goes the way it's going to go, down by 16, and the Cowboys look like they're playing pretty well, this is going to be Washington and Dallas in Washington. Detroit and Minnesota back in Minnesota, which they just had today, where Minnesota beat them 24-17, I believe.
And that's happened before. I remember
Yes,
Detroit and Green Bay had back-to-back final regular season games and wild card, the playoff games several years ago. Toby Goen kicking off. David Patton and Tiki Barber are back deep for the Giants with under a half a minute remaining in the first half. Ball is picked up by Greg Camella and the run out to the 41-yard line. 19 seconds. Now, the interesting thing in talking about these 8-8 teams, Matt, is that the Dallas Cowboys, if they win this game, would move ahead because of the tiebreaker within over the Detroit Lions. So they would play the Minnesota Vikings, and the Detroit Lions would have to play the Washington Redskins next week, because once you get in, now we'll see who is the tiebreaker on the higher seed, and Dallas would have a higher seed than Detroit.
Based on all those tiebreaker things that I don't even look at, it's like the fine print on something when you sign it.
Last night you were reading that till 11 o'clock at night. I couldn't believe it.
You know my answer. Wait till Monday morning. They'll tell us what's going on.
First down from the 40. Time running out in the first half, and the pass to Tiki Barber, and out of bounds with 13 ticks on the clock at the 49 of Dallas. The Giants conceivably could have one more play and maybe set up a field goal attempt. Jim Fossil's team trying to get something before intermission. There is Cary Blanchard, who became the Giant place kicker after Brad Daloiso tore his ACL on the final play of the game the last time these teams met. Second down and 1. Collins being chased by Spellman, and the pass is intercepted, and it is picked off by George Teague,
who was reading Kerry Collins the whole way. As soon as Collins started to break out the pocket, Teague read it perfectly, and he just followed the eyes of Collins. And as that ball was thrown, he had already made his break.
Third interception of the season for George Teague, the former Packer.
He's going to get pressure up here by Alonzo Spellman, and he's going to roll back out on this side. Once he, watch this right here. See, once he throws, Teague had already broken the ball. Collins is starting to square his shoulders. That's when he was breaking already.
So Collins now has a mark of 7 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions, and that will end the first half with the score: the Cowboys 16 and the Giants nothing. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Next.
Me on TV, priceless, and buddy, you took the sign down a little too early.
Oh man.
Speaking of priceless, how about the halftime show? Jim Nance, Craig James, Randy Cross, Jerry Glanville. They'll sort out the entire playoff picture for you, plus scores and highlights from around the National Football League Week 17. Ryan Greasy dances out of trouble. Look at the feet. Finally delivers underneath, incomplete. Lou Bush right there. Gary, the intended receiver.
Here's a chance to look at Brian Greasy's feet. Watch him coming off the progression, keeps him moving, dancing out of the.
So there's a timeout on the field with 2 minutes to play in the first half.
Play, watch, he gets his arms underneath it, and you think it's a catch. But as he rolls over, the nose of the football, when it hits the ground like that, no matter if your hands are underneath it, when that football hits, incomplete.
You know, that begs the question then, if they finally decided to review it and then it's ruled incomplete, would they roll the clock back to the moment that that ball touched the ground?
No.
2nd and 10. Marino dancing, the ball tipped, and it falls incomplete, intended for Conrad. Kennard Lang got a hand on the ball just as it came across the line of scrimmage.
Well, the quarterback, Dan Marino's had one pass picked off because it was hit by the defensive back and went up in the air. This time, hit by Kennard Lang. And I'll tell you, as a quarterback, when it goes up in the air like that, you think, oh, it's going to be intercepted. And the Dolphins, Greg, just to clarify the point, do not get their timeout back because they called timeout before the review started, so they lose that timeout.
They need the 44-yard line for the first down. Marino over the middle. Conrad to the 40. First down yardage, midfield and out of bounds. Into Washington territory. Stops the clock with 19 seconds to play in the half. That's an 18-yard pickup.
Nice job by Dan Marino. Nobody open down the field. Throw the football underneath. Watch Conrad. Here he comes out of the backfield. He looks down the field. Nobody open. Now, a nice stiff arm. Looks pretty good. We were thinking we might see Rob Conrad. He would spell Autry Denson, see what he looks like in a tailback position today. And you can see, for a big fullback, has the moves and the feet to maybe play some halfback too.
The rookie is the 2nd-round draft pick out of Syracuse. Marino going to go for it all, and nobody there but Redskins.
Setting up the screen. Harbaugh running. Delivers. Freddie Jones. Ahead.
Any questions about whether or not the Redskins want this game? Norv Turner told us the other day, I want to win the ball game.
Well, of course he does, for a lot of reasons. Just to keep his team in a good frame of mind. And if you win the game, usually that means you've played pretty well. So that's what you always want as a football coach.
Eighth play of this drive. 2nd and 10. Pass batted up in the air again, falls incomplete. Although I'd like to make this point, Phil, you say this business about you want to play well going into the playoffs, there's a little bit of hogwash to that. It's not absolutely necessary.
Yeah, you know what? Games, football games, every game is like a new season. No matter what you did the week before, when you come out and you play, how you get started, how you make plays that week really determines how it goes. People do not have to be on a roll going into the playoffs to continue to play well and win. That's just not the truth. I played on teams where we stunk it up the last few games of the year. One of them in 1990, we went on to win the Super Bowl.
Lobbing it up. Yateel Green goes up high, comes down with it. Incomplete. Ruled incomplete at the 5-yard line as time expires in the first half. Boy, Yateel Green gave it the old yeoman-like effort.
Champ Bailey gets his hand in there and knocks it out. Otherwise, Yateel Green is going to make the catch.
You know, it didn't hit the ground until a few seconds after the play was blown dead. Let's go down to Armin Katayan.
Coach, your thoughts on the offense, particularly Dan's play, and how long might we see him in the second half?
Well, we're going to play Damon some of the second half, but I was happy with some of the young guys that we are playing. Audrey Denson ran the ball well. The offensive line's blocking well. We're protecting him, and then, of course, we're blocking for the run better than what we've been doing.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot, Greg.
All right, Armin, our halftime score, Washington 7, Miami 3 coming up. Jim Nantz in New York for the NASDAQ halftime report. They'll all get you caught up on the NFL playoff news, scores, and highlights after these messages from your local station.
It's down 14-0, Kansas City. Gannon, 4th and 12, hooks up for a 20-yarder to Tim Brown, sets up game-tying field goal, 38-all. Then Peter Stoyanovich, 45-yarder to put the game in overtime, 38-38. But finally, Joe Nedney makes this 33-yarder, Howie, and the Raiders, Joe Nedney. And John Gruden is excited, why not? 41-38. Raiders over the Chiefs, knocking them out of the playoffs.
Absolutely, and this game here, no bearing at all on the playoffs. Washington beating up on Miami right now by the slightest of margins. Chargers and Broncos, 9-0 Chargers late in the first half.
An emotional Andre Reed, and why not? He passed Art Monk for second place on the all-time reception list. Reports have it, though, Andre will not be back next year. Rob Johnson, though, looks up. He finds Bobby Collins for a 1-yard touchdown. Bills 31, over 6 over the Colts.
All right, and Jacksonville wins the AFC Central and home field advantage throughout the playoffs with the victory today. Now, the Titans will host the Buffalo Bills next week. Titans win at 21-7 over the Steelers. And in a game played by, make that for pride only, it was the Patriots upending the Ravens by the score of 20-3. So the AFC wildcard weekend looks like this. Of course, Jacksonville and Indianapolis with first-round byes. Seattle will host Miami, and Tennessee will host Buffalo. Look at that, Tennessee and Buffalo, two teams with excellent records having to play one another. And as we take a look at Dallas, a little bit of inspired play by Dallas in the first half.
Yeah, Jerry Jones yelling at his team this week. Wellington Merritt yelling at his team in New York. I guess Jerry's a better yeller than is Wellington because he's getting the results out. He's had more practice, so he would be better. But, you know, a lot of people want to give St. Louis the NFC Championship. But watching the Giants today, remember the most impressive win that St. Louis has this season is against the New York Giants. Have not beaten a team with a winning record, so I don't think it's a foregone conclusion at all.
You look at the teams that are in, possibly. If Dallas wins today, they'll have lost 2 of their last 5. Seattle, 5 of their last 6. Miami will have lost 5 of their last 7. Detroit will have lost 6 of their last 8. And the New York Jets are responsible for 4 of those losses.
You mentioned that St. Louis, many people want to give them the NFC Championship, just like I want to give Tennessee the victory over Pittsburgh. And, of course, that game is still at the half. Visa halftime will continue right after this.
You know, though, JB.
Craig James, and I thought Jerry said something interesting on TV today about Bruce Coslett being criticized by Pickens in Cincinnati. He said he would have taken him into a booth in a dark room and brought a baseball bat. Second down and goal at the 15-yard line.
You got to take a shot into the end zone right here.
Here's Harbaugh looking, caught by Jones at the 10. Coghill with the tackle. Timeout San Diego.
And there you got to take your third and final timeout when you throw it over the middle of the field. 8 seconds left. You might maybe try a shot, little fade route to the end zone, but you can't afford a sack. You're going to lose those 3 points. This is where it gets a little dicey. If you go ahead and kick the field goal, or you say, hey, we think we can get off one more play. Now they do have the big wide receiver, Michael Ricks, 6'5", taking a shot. Just throw it up there. Just take 3 or 4 seconds, and either he catches it or nobody catches it.
San Diego out of timeouts. Jeep Christ calls the offensive plays for San Diego, and he's been battling some kind of stomach virus. They had to actually bring up the doctors into his room yesterday.
And you think they're telling Kenny Bynum, hey, if you would have got out of bounds, we'd have another timeout? It's little things, and those are the little things that sometimes are the difference between winning and losing. You've got to know that. You've got to know the situations. You've got to know the down markers. You have to know the timeouts left. You have to know what down is. Those are all the things that sometimes in the heat of the moment you can't remember. That separates the best from the teams that end up not going to the playoffs.
So one more shot here for the San Diego Chargers. Ricks at the bottom of your screen. Graham at the top of your screen. Harbaugh pump fake looking for Graham, and he just throws it out of bounds.
Satin curtain.
Steel curtain.
Whatever. At least we both drink Miller Lite because it tastes great, right?
Well, actually, I like it because it's less filling, but it's nice to drink with such a football expert.
You know, I was a guard for the Packers.
Jimmy, you were parking lot security.
Taste the true Pilsner. Are you looking down my shirt?
It's up. And good.
Next week, and the Cowboys at Minnesota. Remember, they met on a Monday night earlier this year. Vikings won by 10. But the Giants come back to win. It'll be Green Bay at Washington and Detroit at Minnesota. Now, earlier today, the Colts' 11-game win streak came to a close. The Bills ride into the playoffs off a big win today, Craig.
Man, did they show up. Like the Colts were very nervous in this ballgame. Rob Johnson, his second touchdown of the game to Bobby Collins, up 28-6. Then Andre Reed catches this little pass from Johnson, moves into second place all-time receptions list. Could it be over for Reed in Buffalo?
I don't see myself retiring. I think I have still a lot to give to the game. Whether it's here or somewhere else, you know, that's yet to be determined. But I think I still can. I don't want to leave knowing that I still can contribute somewhere or whatever. I think I still can do it.
Second all-time to Rice. He's got a playoff game next week at Tennessee. Jags win the Central without Mark Grinnell.
Well, they won it with their defense that really stifled Cincinnati, and Jay Fiedler made Todd Coughlin feel a lot better about his backup quarterback position with his performance today.
And for just a moment, it looked like Seattle would be out of the playoffs, losing for the 5th time in 6 months.
Dallas Cowboys were going to do anything, it was going to have to be on the arm of Troy Aikman. Now, the good news for them is they got Emmitt Smith running very well, and the right side of that offensive line has been really taking task to the left defensive side of the New York Football Giants. For the Giants right now, Dick, when you look at them, you can't say anything about their effort because they're playing hard. I think the biggest thing there is, well, like my buddy Ed Muller says at home, they just need some more players. And I would agree.
Ed might have been the first one ever to say a thing like that.
That's right.
Let's take a look at the halftime statistics. And the Cowboys dominating, and the Cowboys 1 for 4 in the red zone. Early in the game, the Giants had some hope because they limited Dallas to 2 field goals when the Cowboys had 1st and goal at the 5 or 6 yard line. But then Troy Aikman hit Raghib Ismail for a touchdown pass. Murray has 3 field goals, and there you have it. It's a 16-0 game as Dallas will kick off to start the 3rd quarter. Tiki Barber back deep for the Giants. David Patton is alongside him. And Murray with the kick, and Barber 3 yards in the end zone, bringing it out for the Giants. And doesn't get beyond the 21 yard line.
You know, Dick, we watched this Giant offense in the first half, and the majority of what Collins was doing when he was throwing, they weren't stretching the field by any stretch of the imagination. And they went only 2 times over 20 yards, so anything under 20 you can see right there is 15 times. They only threw the ball 17 times, and you're down now by 16 points. At one point, you have to push it down the field. The question is, who do you push it with? Who's their real speed guy?
1st and 10 at the 21 yard line. Play action on 1st down, and Collins' pass tipped off the hands of Howard Cross, incomplete. Let's check in with Pam Oliver.
All right, Dick, as you know, Jim Fossil declared that Giants players are pretty much playing for their jobs. So along those lines, he says he feels happy with the way that they're playing. He feels like they're giving him a good effort. He just wants to see the offense kick it up a little bit better. As for Chan Gailey, he says he wants to see more of the same, with the exception of touchdowns in the red zone, needs more of those. He says, though, he's happy with the execution on offense, defense, and special teams. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and I guess he would be. A 16-0 shutout going right now. And here is Joe Montgomery for a short game. By the way, we have some updates on injuries in the first half. Christian Peter, who went into the locker room with dizziness, is back on the field, and he is better, and that is good news. And Emmitt Smith, who also went in with dehydration before the half, is also back and feeling better. And there is Christian Peter.
I remember a game of, about maybe 10 years back, and Emmitt Smith was playing the Washington Redskins. In the first half, he tore him up, and he got sick and never came back in, and they went on to lose that game. With him out of there, it changed the complexion completely.
3rd and 8 on the 23. Here comes the pressure. It's picked up And this pass is incomplete. Amani Toomer, who is in with range of all-time Giant receiving marks, has yet to catch one today.
Well, you can see one catch between the two of them. And it goes back to what Sean Payton was talking to us about just yesterday. You go into the game and you have to get the ball into the hands of the guys who can make some plays. And if they're deeming them as their guys who can make plays, that's not a good stat there. One catch between the two of them.
Dion back to return the kick by Brad Maynard. Deion Sanders fields the kick at the 25, and he gets by David Patton, and he's finally tripped up at the 32-yard line by Pete Monty. So Kerry Collins right now 11 for 21, 89 yards and 1 interception. We'll be right back.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up!
Down the starters McNair and Eddie George. Now, the Cowboys are in with a win. They've had a big first half from Aikman, including a touchdown pass to the Rocket. Cowboys over the Giants. Let's talk about that NFC side. If Dallas wins, Dallas will knock out Green Bay and play Minnesota next week, while Detroit would go against Washington. If Dallas loses, it would be Detroit at Minnesota and Green Bay against Washington. Craig, let's go through the earlier games today. Buffalo will ride into the playoffs off a big win, including this one over the Colts today.
At the expense of the Colts, yeah. Now the coach, you got to figure they're going to rebound for this deal here. Rob Johnson, his second touchdown pass of the day, tight end Bobby Collins. And then Andre Reed, a little screen from Johnson, moves into second place all-time receptions list behind Rice. And could it be over for Mr. Reed in Buffalo?
I don't see myself retiring. I think I have still a lot to give to the game. Whether it's here or somewhere else, you know, that's yet to be determined. But I think I still can. I don't want to leave knowing that I still can contribute somewhere or whatever. I think I still can do it.
He's got a playoff game next week at Tennessee. Meanwhile, Jacksonville wins the AFC Central.
That was interesting.
The Volkswagen Jetta. Sometimes everything just comes together. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Hi, I'm Troy Aikman of the Dallas Cowboys. Please join me in supporting the United Way. The NFL, the United Way in you, the power of teamwork.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
You know, part of returning punts is you have to have a plan. You watch Deion Sanders with the spin move off Patton right as he caught the ball. That tells you that he felt that thing. This is what he felt, was Patton coming down. Heck, Patton was moving so fast, Deion even moved faster. You see that?
Yes, I did. 33-yard line. We can make anything happen with videotape. First down for the Cowboys. Troy Aikman having a superb day. Completes his first pass to Raghib Ismail to start the third quarter, a gain of 13 yards.
So much has been talked about down here at this Dallas offense in the passing game, and how Troy Aikman, you know, has been off a little bit. His receivers aren't always running the right routes, and they're out of sync. And you watch the tape, and it looked like that, but Aikman doesn't look out of sync today. Troy Aikman's going back. He's got time to throw, and he's throwing to a plethora of receivers.
And many of them as well. To use your lingo, here is Emmitt Smith, nothing there, and a loss on the play. And so Troy Aikman, whose numbers have been down this year, and Aikman with the completion percentage way down from what it has been, but let's see where his passes have gone distance-wise.
Well, he's not pushing the ball down the field either. You can see that he only went over one time, over 20. Everything else is 21 attempts, all under 20 yards. The difference in the passing games has been that Aikman's has had receivers to throw to that are open.
Second down and 14. The Giants debilitated in the secondary with the loss of Sehorn and Felipe Sparks, their starting corners, and Aikman trying to take advantage of it. And this pass intended for Tucker, incomplete, covered by Hamilton. Interesting thing that Chan Gailey told us yesterday, Matt, and that is do not judge Troy Aikman by his statistics, because he has not played with the same set of receivers for 3 weeks in a row, and that has forced a lot of adjustments by number 8.
Yeah, from the start of the season all the way through. And Troy's one of those quarterbacks that He relies on timing. He relies on a good mesh between him and the receiver. And when you're changing guys, you don't get the feel for the receiver.
Deion Sanders is in the game at the wide receiver along with 3 others on 3rd down and 14. And Aikman trying to escape and dumps it off smartly to Chris Warren. So Aikman avoiding the sack and gets it to Warren. Michael Strahan making the tackle and a gain of 8 yards, but it's 4th down.
That was a good effort by Aikman. Strahan is working on Eric Williams, and that time he gets it. And he works back underneath and is able to get pressure on Aikman and force him out of the pocket. Aikman did a fine job of staying with it and just spotting him, and as he goes down, he's able to get that ball out there.
4th down, and Toby Goen punting for the first time today. That's how rosy things have been for the Cowboys. And a booming high kick. Tiki Barber gets hit, and a flag is coming as the ball goes into the end zone. Wendell Davis knocked Tiki Barber down. And there'll be some yardage marked off against the Cowboys.
If Tiki Barber raised his hand, you can't touch him, and he can't touch you. But if he didn't, and he tries to block you, you can whack him.
That's true. His arm did not go up. And a conference now amongst the officials at the 10.
See, now you're going to have to make the determination. You can't hit a defenseless player. But Barber was drawing him over that way. He never raised his hand.
Well, the preliminary signal is that it will go against the Cowboys. Ron Blum.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. 15 yards.
I did not see a fair catch.
Maybe he made the fair catch earlier.
Timeout.
That would be the only thing. If he raised his hand real early, he doesn't. We don't see the hand go up here at all. So but if it's raised, you can't touch it.
He had to do it earlier if that was a fair catch.
Now take a journey to a beautiful, happy place.
Seattle next week. Buffalo will play at Tennessee. Jacksonville has secured home field throughout the AFC playoffs. Now another action just a moment ago. Rodney Pete's in. Starting to see this now in all these games. The starters being rested for the playoffs. Pete to Irving Fryer, Redskins over the Dolphins. Meanwhile, the Chargers lead at Mile High. Jermaine Fasan is the man. He has over 100 yards in the first half and a touchdown. Cowboys win. They are in. Should they lose, well, Green Bay would take the final playoff spot in the NFC. Here's how it works. If Dallas wins, it will knock out Green Bay and play Minnesota in the next round. Detroit would be at Washington. But if Dallas loses, if the Giants come back, it would be Detroit at Minnesota and Green Bay against Washington. Here we go, Craig. Let's talk about that Bills win today over the Colts, ending Indianapolis's 11-game win streak.
All right, let's fire it up here. Buffalo Bills, they were fired up from the get-go on this one here. Rob Johnson, second touchdown pass today to Bobby Collins. Then Andre Reed will screen from Rob Johnson, moves into second.
Hey, everybody. This is Jim. Look, DirecTV's got all your favorite cable channels. Plus, now you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Stars, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitment. DirecTV, what are you looking at?
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Cowboy on the right. Wendell Davis called for interference for Tiki Barber. Interference if you wanted to make a fair catch. We saw no indication of that at all.
Yeah, see this, he doesn't make the fair catch sign. And what he's doing right down here is he's trying to draw coverage away from the ball. Now watch, the ball is over his head. He wasn't trying to catch that ball. He never raised his hand. Unless I'm misunderstanding the rule, I think that's a.
But it's a 4-yard call. 4-yard penalty because the ball went into the end zone, and the Giants will start from the 24. Sean Bennett is the tailback, seeing his first action in 5 weeks as a running back. Kerry Collins to throw. Flag is down, and Bennett on the receiving end, and the rookie from Northwestern. About a yard short of the first down. Darren Hambrick, the linebacker, on the tackle, and another penalty against the Giants.
Holding, 78 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Mike Rosenthal holding, nullifies a 9-yard pickup.
You watch Rosenthal right up here, number 78. Against Brandon Noble. That's more of a takedown. You might go with the 2 points.
So it'll be first down and 20. Giants have not done much with their 5 possessions today. And on the screen pass, the ball hitting Barber from behind.
Oh, actually what it did was
it went deflected. You're right.
It went right to Brandon Noble.
Right. Didn't hit him from behind, but
it hit him right in the breadbasket. He did a chance for an interception.
Almost a very careless play by the Giants offense setting up the screen.
Former college teammates right there, Brandon Noble and Kerry Collins.
And where did they go to school?
A fine academic institution in the eastern middle part of Pennsylvania. I believe that would be the Pennsylvania State University.
Jerry Sandusky coaching his last game.
Just retired. Good coach.
Second down and 20. And here is Amani Toomer. And Amani Toomer with his first catch of the game getting a first down. So Amani Toomer, who has been the Giants' top receiver, picking up 25 yards on that pass catch and run.
Yeah, running back underneath, and he does a good job of picking up the block down the field by Greg Camella. Right there, Camella on Hambrick allowed him to get that first down.
Toomer coming into the game needed 2 catches to pass Ernest Gray as the all-time Giant leading receiver. 4 catches, which he set back in '83. First down at the 39. Here is Camella, and he is hit immediately. Good speed and lateral pursuit by the Cowboys, and Dexter Coakley, who of course heading for the Pro Bowl, one of 6 Cowboys to do so, holds the Giants to a 3-yard gain.
And that Dexter Coakley, when you watch him, he's one of those guys, he's rarely, if ever, off his feet. He has tremendous speed, but he has excellent quickness as well. Looks like he just stuck his finger in the socket right there. Holy smokes. He can really play. He's electric himself.
Second down and 7 at the 42. Juravicius goes in motion, and they hand off to Sean Bennett, turning the corner and going down the sidelines, and Bennett with the Giants' big rushing gain of the day, knocked out of bounds by Pepe Zellner after a pickup of 29 yards. Bennett playing his first game in 5 weeks after an injury.
Excellent job, Howard Cross. Camella does a nice job right there on Teague, which allows him to take the corner. And then watch Zellner at the end, because he outruns the angle, but Zellner just catches him by the top of his pad, and Bennett can't run through it.
Sprained MCL kept Bennett on the sideline. So first down for the Giants on the 29 of the Cowboys. Here is Bennett again. Bennett, who played college ball at Evansville. They closed down the sport, and he transferred to Northwestern. Didn't play much in his senior year and was drafted by the Giants on the 4th round.
What he needs? Reps. That's what he's going to need. The more he plays, you'll get a better flavor for what he is. You'll know exactly what he can do in this league.
Second down and 8. On the Cowboy 27, Tiki Barber is the running back. Kerry Collins goes underneath, and the catch made by Barber, and he'll be about 2.5 yards short of the first down. Dexter Coakley all over the field today on the clamp.
Well, he's clamping courtesy of the feet. Dexter Coakley has tremendous feet. They're never out of position. He moves them fast when he runs, and he takes the short, choppy steps, not a real long strider. So it's hard to knock him off his feet. Not a big guy, but he's a player.
Third down and 3, and keep in mind the Giants have 2 downs to get the first down, trailing 16-0. And eliminated from the playoff chase. And the pressure on Collins, and the pass is caught. And Ike Hilliard has enough for a Giant first down inside the Dallas 20. He picked up 4. That did the job.
Well, Collins knew he was going to get pressure. Coakley came clean right off the side. He had pressure right up inside. He was going to have to get rid of the ball fast. It's one thing for the quarterback to have to make that read, but he has to be on the same page with Hilliard. Hilliard made the same read, broke it off, and got the first.
First down for the Giants on the Cowboy 18. Sean Bennett back in at running back, and Bennett gets the carry. And Bennett is spun around, knocked away. The clock still working. A gain that time of 4 yards. Darren Woodson providing the hit. He is not going to the Pro Bowl, Darren Woodson.
No, and I think that's the guy who deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. And I think when you say that, you have to say, okay, if not him, then who? I mean, if not him, then whose spot does he take? And he's a better player, really, all the way around than the 3 that made it. The guy out in San Francisco who made it, the kid from Hofstra, had himself a good year, but he's not as good a player as this guy. This guy is really a good player.
At least you said who shouldn't be in when we say a guy should be in. No one ever does that. Second down and 6. And there's a swing pass to Bennett. And a big hit by Deion Sanders to nail Bennett in the open field. Big play by Deion.
Listen to the crowd.
And Michael
Crowd's
Irvin,
excited about it too.
Yes.
It's like Michael Irvin is. You know, the thing about Deion Sanders, people say, and I've been critical of him because he doesn't like to hit, but he will if he has to. I remember when he played for San Francisco, when they played in the championship game, when he had to come up and they tested him. The Cowboys ran at him and he had to make tackles, and he did. And that stuck in my mind. So if he has to tackle, he will.
Giants still haven't thrown at him today. Third down and 8.
The free play.
Flag is down and the pass is incomplete. And you're right, the preliminary signal is against the Cowboys as Collins got pressure from Ebenezer Ekubon. And if it is against the Dallas Cowboys, it'll be 3rd and 3.
Offside, 96 defense, 5 yards, repeat third down.
It was Ekubon, that's why he got in there so quickly.
The Cowboys have a couple of good young defensive linemen. Ekubon is one out of North Carolina. I think he's going to be all right. And that Greg Ellis, he was playing really well before he got here.
3 weeks ago, out for the season, a huge loss. But got some youth with ability on this Dallas defense.
The other guy who helped him a lot this year was Alonzo Spellman, and they moved him down inside, and he's played well. Of course, he's on the sideline right now.
3rd and 3 from the 11. And the shovel pass to Tiki Barber backfires.
Ekubon was right there. And you see what he did. Dick, he started to come up the field and felt it, and he did a spin move back inside, and he spun right into Tiki Barber. Now this is what's called the spin. Watch the feet. Up. Now right inside. That's perfectly done by Ekubon. Now, along with that, it has to be said that there's some luck involved because there's no way he knew he was going to spin into a tackle.
So Ekubon on the sidelines, and now Harry Blanchard attempting a 29-yard field goal to give the Giants their first points of the game. And the kick by Blanchard is good, and if you're wondering why the Giants wouldn't go for it on 4th down and 3, got to get some points on the board before you start going for the 7s, and that's what the Giants did here. They stood.
They've got to be patient. And there's Harbaugh being taken off the field. A little limp there. It looks like a hip flexor type of injury.
Gracie short drop this time to the sideline. McCaffrey. And he gets driven out of bounds by Brown. Gain of 6. Fakir Brown. Want to go to the games? You can be there. Playoff. Second down 4 from the Chargers' 41-yard line. Gary cuts it back. And
Big Blaze! Big Blaze! Boy, it's hot. I love you. All day long. I love. Here we go. I want you. Me. Boy, it's hot.
Join hosts Ron Pitts and Jill Arrington on NFL Under the Helmet, Saturdays at noon Eastern on Fox.
From Gilligan's Island to Different Strokes.
I tried to hang myself with a telephone cord.
TV Guide's truth behind the sitcom scandals 2. All new at 8/7 Central Fox Wednesday.
And that moments ago, Sean Payton had to take Monty Toomer and calm him down. He came off the sideline and got into a little bit of a ruckus over there between he and Tiki Barber. Now, Tiki Barber has opened his yap a little bit up there in New York about criticizing his teammates about not preparing enough or maybe not having enough heart or whatever. And sometimes that, you know, guys can only take so much. You don't question. It's good sometimes to call them out, and other times it'll come back and bite you. But that's all right. I'd rather have a guy call you out.
That was the Giants scoring drive as they trail 16-3. Jason Tucker, who fumbles and seems to recover his own fumble, and does. Tucker, who returned the opening kickoff 79 yards, setting up a field goal, but he alertly recovered the ball. We'll be right back.
Greasy, incomplete, intended for Gary.
Play action, even though it's not the sellout that a lot of teams use, they get receivers open down the field, and Damon Hewitt takes a pretty good look right there.
From Ndukwe Kalu. First down. Now at the 42. Denson to the 40. You know, going back to Norv Turner and how much of an imprint he makes on the offense. We were talking with Jimmy Johnson last night. Jimmy says Norv should never remove himself.
On the sideline, broken.
Assumes that Bill Cowher will be back as coach next year. There's been so much speculation to the contrary. As the handoff taken down inside the 40-yard line and down to the 37.
Yes, my butter kiss.
Time to rub the bunions.
Great.
You're so sweet, Johnny. Between the toes.
I know.
Oh.
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By Turning Leaf Wine, wine lovers know Turning Leaf. By PSINet, the internet super carrier. And by E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
Back here at Texas Stadium, Dick Stockton along with Matt Millen, Pam Oliver. 5:15 remaining in the third quarter. The Cowboys leading the Giants 16-3. Christian Peter, who suffered dizziness, went into the locker room in the first half, has been out there at defensive tackle. Cowboys first down on the 14-yard line. And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith. Smith on the verge of another 100-yard gain. That was his 10th carry. Well, get ready for Greed Fest. 3 nights of TV's richest game show, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The only network television game show that can give away over $2 million. Greed Fest, the 3-night event, starts Wednesday at 9, 8 Central on Fox. Emmitt Smith 2 yards away. Well, we'll correct that. 2nd and 9 on the 15-yard line. And movement in the line.
It's 2 yards away from 69 yards.
That's right. You know, when you turn around 99, turn it upside down at 66.
I hate it when that happens.
Call start, 73 offense. 5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
Larry Allen, the left guard, only the 3rd penalty against the Cowboys today, and they went in, the most penalized team in the NFL. And Chan Gailey talking about how they have come at the most inopportune times. Of course, I don't know an opportune time for a penalty.
Right now, this is an opportunity for these Giants to get right back in this game. They can stop them right here and get a little field position.
Pass is caught by Jason Tucker, and he's off.
Then again, maybe not.
After Jeremy Lincoln missed him. Jason Tucker, a keeper perhaps after a tremendous game last week against New Orleans, goes 90 yards for a Dallas touchdown.
Dick, you go all the way back to our pregame show. And this is the perfect illustration of what Terry Bradshaw was talking about. That Aikman would go after those inexperienced corners. Even though you have inexperience on your side, you have to take your shot. And he did. And one missed tackle, and 90 yards later, and Don Meredith might be singing.
And that also ties Troy Aikman's career long touchdown pass of 90 yards. And Eddie Murray with the extra point for the Cowboys. And they get the touchdown back in a hurry. And Michael Irvin, only playing 4 games this year, out with a neck injury and maybe finish for his career. Watches Jason Tucker from Troy Aikman.
I'm not doing anything tonight, so call me.
In love with you. Say you love me.
Hey, Romeo. Grab a Bud Light.
Boys, this is my lucky.
What is this, a 5 or 6?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you
Is it a
down.
5 or 6?
Make it a Bud Light.
That's a 4.
Definitely a B.
4, maybe an F.
Shoulders to relax your arms.
It cost us a timeout.
Brings on Jason Elam. Attempted 37-yarder. Ruin is the holder. Got it up. And perfect. Broncos finally get on the board. 9 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Having such great success. Here comes Surtain off the front side, picked up by the Washington Redskins. Brian Mitchell doesn't stay with him though. But when this defense had so much success early in the year, I thought it was more aggressive than it's been in the last few games. It blitzed more, it gave the offenses a lot of different looks. Lately, when you struggle, you have a tendency to be conservative, and that's not the thing to do in this league.
Pete throws, that pass incomplete, and that hit the defender in the back, and a penalty marker flies. And we have a penalty at the other end of the field as well.
Following up the point you just made is Tucker with his second prolific week of receiving yards and return yardage, all purpose, on the brink of 200 today. The Cowboy backup receivers are beating the Giant backup defensive backs. It's come down to that. Goins kick and down by Barber in the end zone for a touchback.
Well, if you're Jason Tucker and you have one bounce off your face in the end zone, there's really only one way to come back and redeem yourself, and that's to make a big play. So you slip a tackle, you use your speed, you hit that other gear, you feel pretty good about yourself on the sidelines.
And that tied the longest pass in the NFL this season, 90 yards. Billy Joe Hobart hit Eddie Kennison as the Saints back against Atlanta on October the 10th, 90 yards, and this matched that, and it was Aikman's career high, and Tucker going over 100 yards in his second consecutive start. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Giants. Collins completing the pass to Tiki Barber.
Chad Hennings got himself a nice reception at the other end.
But he made the catch and out of bounds for the first down.
Good heads-up play by Hennings. Barber they're going to find underneath, and nearly this has been the staple of their offense in the passing game all day long. Ball comes out right there, and Hennings is right there just to complete it.
On top of the great year he's had as a defensive tackle.
He's played pretty well.
Yes,
He's one of those guys that people completely forget about.
It's first down at the 32. Collins. And this is ruled a catch by Ike Hilliard. And a pickup of 7 yards. So the Giants in a hurry-up offense now, trailing by 20 points, 23-3, and winding down to 3 minutes remaining in the third. Collins has completed 8 in a row. 2nd down and 3. And make it 9 as Amani Toomer makes the catch just short of midfield for the first down. And Toomer has now passed Ernest Gray as the all-time leading Giant receiver with catches. That was his 79th. He passed Ernest Gray and on the brink of passing Homer Jones for yardage as well.
Modest records, to say the least, in today's passing game.
Pass caught by Joe Juravicius, and a gain of about 5 on the play.
You know, this is a passing league, and those records are old records. They should fall, because today's football, you know, 125 catches is the league record, 123, I think, by Chris Carter. And good numbers are, yeah, you get around 100, 110. That's when you're having yourself an excellent season.
Michael Irvin style. Here is Tiki Barber out of the backfield and a first down and out of bounds. But I think it shows that the Giants back then and even now have not been a pass-happy team.
Well, they've always played tough defense and run the football. That's been the staple of what they are. And I think, you know, you have to make the next transition, but you first have to have the players to do that. And I think they need to upgrade their talent.
First down on the 34. Kerry Collins being chased by Ekuman and throws it away.
You know, just watching today, this Dallas secondary, they're covering them all over the place. They don't push the ball down the field because there's nobody to throw it to down there. So you're forced to have to dump it off underneath. Just watch the coverage all the way around. Although that guy looks pretty open to me until you have the bigger picture and you see that the safety's dropping off on him.
And now we talked about how the Giants are missing their starting corners in Sparks and Sehorn, but don't forget the Cowboys are missing Kevin Smith and Kevin Mathis as well. Second down and 10. And the pass up the middle, and no one there except a series of white shirts. So no Giant was home, and that incomplete pass will bring up third down.
Take a look at this pass and tell me if you think there's anybody remotely. Oh, this is what he was anticipating to get to the middle of the field. He fell down. Of course, the 6-yard line looked wide open to me.
Might have hit the 6. Third and 10 at the 34-yard line. Pressure on Collins, and down he goes. Leon Lett, suspended for the first 8 games of the season, comes in and gets the first sack of the game for either team.
And when you start thinking to push the ball down the field, then you need a little bit of time. Rosenthal got beat like a drum, easy. Right to the inside move. They didn't give him any help as well, so you got Leon Lett all by herself, and that's what happens.
So it is fourth down, and Maynard will be kicking for the Giants. And the Cowboys looking to get a piece of it.
I don't know if they did or not. It
it
may have sounded like there was a tip in there someplace. If it wasn't, it was one ugly kick. Ball's out at the 29-yard line.
Well, the Giants finishing up, heading for a 7-9 finish. And they got off to a 5-3 start, and there was some hope for the Giants this year. And of course, the defense playing outstanding ball early, pointing fingers at the defense. And Kerry Collins took over for Kent Graham, and there was some hope with a couple of wins against the Jets and the Bills, but losses last 2 weeks to the Rams and the Vikings, dashing the Giant hopes. And coming into this game, really we're out of it when it started with Green Bay winning. Wellington Mara, the 83-year-old co-owner, Ernie Accorsi, the general manager, to his left. And they're going to need a lot of work done in the offseason as Emmitt Smith on first down gets a couple of yards. And you mentioned the #1 priority, and that is overall team speed.
Yeah, you have to have team speed. You have to. They need a pass rusher. I mean, Michael Strahan's a good player, but Michael Strahan almost looks to me like he's a right defensive end. Not a real big guy, maybe around 270. You're also, you know what? You have to draft well. And in today's football, I'm not real sold on the fact that you go out and get a big-name guy and bring him in. That doesn't necessarily thrill me. You get some pieces of the puzzle, but you have to do it through the draft.
Second down and 7 at the 32-yard line. Aikman's pass, and it is ruled a catch at the 40-yard line by Jason Tucker. And of course, you have to be healthy too.
Yes.
It's interesting. You look at the Rams and the Redskins, two teams who have really not had a major injury all season long.
Well, they need some health in their secondary.
And that is the end of the third quarter here at Texas Stadium with the score: the Cowboys 23 and the Giants 3. Fox NFL Sunday will continue right after these messages.
You're watching.
Down, a gain of 7. Tonight on 60 Minutes, you don't have to root for the Jets or even be
played, but very seldom do they throw it. What happens is he must have been backing up looking for a long pass, could have tripped and fell, or ran into a player.
Ewart fakes to Denson, eludes the rush, throws and overthrows everybody, incomplete. Mark McMillan was the Redskin making the dive for the pass.
See, great, go back.
Rod Smith concentrating on the flight of that ball. You're going to see the play at ground level get tipped at the line of scrimmage. And all of a sudden that ball's wobbling a little bit. Big John Perella gets his hand on it. Doesn't affect Rod Smith. Stays with the ball. He doesn't run before he catches it this time.
Smith, 6 catch. From the 38 now for the Broncos.
2nd and 10 for the Dolphins. Denson. Met and pushed back.
Your chance to win a trip for 2 to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Just watch any Monday, write down the item numbers for 3 products and mail it to QVC. You can enter each week, and it's an offer for you as an NFL Sunday Ticket viewer. So tune in Mondays for the gear and the getaway. What? I can't get away with this?
We begin the fourth quarter here at Texas Stadium. And Happy New Year to all of you on this 2nd of January.
Merry New Year.
Yes. Dallas Cowboys really having a Happy New Year with a first down on the 40-yard line, and Emmitt Smith is upended. Well, how many chances have the Cowboys had? And of course, last week they lose to New Orleans, and it was an emotional week. First they were down, then they were up because they had a chance, and really they are really taking advantage of it.
It's amazing. You know, just a week ago, John Madden was talking about that this they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. You watch them today, and Troy Aikman looks like he could take this team into the playoffs and do well. And so I think the biggest thing is they've taken advantage of this opportunity now. And I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys at this point, you look back, you don't look backwards. You just forget it all and you move forward from this point.
2nd down and 11, and the catch to David LaFleur, the tight end, will leave them about 5 yards shy of the first down. Now the interesting thing is, we related before, if the Cowboys go on and win, they would not be the 6th seed but the 5th seed in the NFC playoffs. The Detroit Lions, who lost to the Vikings today, also would be an 8-8 team, as would be the Cowboys. And the wild card games in the NFC would match Dallas at Minnesota and Detroit at Washington.
Now, Dallas got beat up in Minnesota on a Monday night game, but if you remember that game, Emmitt was running all over them.
Yes.
They can beat the Minnesota Vikings.
And here is that man Tucker again, Jason Tucker, who went 90 yards with a touchdown pass in the third quarter and returned the opening kickoff 79 yards, grabs this for 8.
And the other half of that, Washington was beaten by Detroit in Detroit. Now Detroit would have to go to Washington to play them, and that's a game that the Redskins can win. This guy here is one reason, Tucker, is one reason that they would have even a better chance. He didn't even exist the last time they played Minnesota, and he's making big plays, and their secondary in Minnesota is not that solid, although they haven't been giving up big plays lately.
Deion Sanders on the end around is going to try to throw a pass, and he was going for Ismail, but it is incomplete. So the Cowboys leading 23-3, still entertaining the crowd with a little kind of razzle-dazzle with it. Deion trying to throw.
Dion goes back, he comes across the motion here, he's wide open. A good job by the off corner to fall off, but a better throw by Dion, who's throwing that thing as this southpaw.
Trying to pull a Randy Moss from last week.
I think he was trying to hit the cutoff man underneath. Shortstop came out, ball was over his head. Of course, he had to make that throw.
It's the fundamentals of baseball. Sanders 0 for 2 career-wise in the passing department. And here is Emmitt Smith.
Oh, man.
Emmitt Smith has put on a show in the first half, and he's putting on one here in the fourth quarter. Knocked out of bounds, and a gain of 13. And right now, for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles. JB.
All right, Dick, here is what they may very well be looking forward to. Dallas, Minnesota offense that's working in high octane indeed. Randy Moss, 67-yard touchdown play. Minnesota, of course, went on to victory today. This is what Dallas may well be looking forward to. Back to Dick and Matt.
And an interesting thought by Matt. That could be an interesting game in Minnesota, but the Vikings are going into the playoffs on a high.
What a turnaround with Jeff George. They were really struggling under Randall Cunningham, and heck, they're right there.
Here's Emmitt again, and nothing doing on first down. Well, the Dallas Cowboys, a Jekyll and Hyde team here at Texas Stadium and on the road. If they win this game, and they're well on their way, they'll go 7-1, but 1-7 away from home.
7-1 and 1-7. Look at the points. And home they score points. And they're just a completely different team on the road.
Best home record since 1981 when they won them all. They were 8-0 that season. 2nd down and 9. Here is Aikman throwing to no one in particular left. Cedric Jones, the Giant defensive end, was the closest, and Robert Thomas was the nearest Cowboy in the area.
Well, he was throwing it to Robert. Robert Thomas was there. He just threw it over his head because there was nothing going to happen. Looking at Robert Thomas, I was speaking to Darryl Johnston before the game, and boy, he looks like he just shrunk now.
From his linebacker days.
From his, he built like a linebacker playing fullback. There's Darryl right there, and a great player. He really was a big part of this offense.
3rd down and 9. Deion Sanders is in the game. They have 3 receivers off to the left. Strahan trying to get in there, and
that's interesting, Dick, because if you looked at that, the Giants. John Fox was going to roll the bones, and he was going to leave Deion Sanders.
79 offense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
He was going to leave Deion Sanders matched up man-to-man with Conrad Hamilton with no help behind him. They were coming with a blitz.
But Eric Williams guilty of the false start. 3rd down and 14. Cowboys on the Giants 38-yard line, leading 23-3. The penalties are all even in the game. Cowboys certainly have curtailed that problem this week. Quick toss, and it's batted down, and see whether George Williams was there to make the deflection, and he was. So 4th down coming up, and the Cowboys will kick. Deion at last had a chance to throw a pass on an end around, which fizzled.
Talking about playing baseball again.
He's been talking about it.
Kind of like him. He actually looks bigger in a baseball uniform than he does.
Toby Goen now goes into pass formation as a receiver. It is 4th down.
They're going to try to get him to jump off sides.
And they're not going to do it. So the Cowboys put Signor Mobley behind center as the quarterback, and Toby Goen moved up to the line, but a delay of game call.
Signor Mobley's feeling pretty good about himself. Yeah. You see him? He said, "You see me? I was a quarterback."
Repeat 4th down.
That's one of those things they'll laugh about in the locker room all week long. He got up there, stuck his hands under like he's a big timer. Surprised he didn't put his hands up to calm the crowd down. Look at him, barking out signals.
Toby Goen now back to punt, or so it seems. And this kick will bounce at the 5 and go into the end zone. So we have seen the Dallas Cowboys with the big lead going into their bag of tricks. They're putting on a show and leading by 20.
RCA Victor.
Internet home. It's a jump ball at this point. Rod Smith making a great effort. And they're going after Brown after those couple of deep routes that McCaffrey ran on him, thinking that he'd be sucking some wind here in Mile High Stadium. And I'm sure he is.
Fakir Brown started week 15 against the Raiders, recorded 4 tackles, a pass defended, and a special teams hit.
And Denver takes a time.
City. He said so many times in the locker room there would be backbiting and gossiping. He got here, it was like he could not believe the kind of chemistry or lack of chemistry on this football team. He said this year there's a new spirit, a new honesty, and a new commitment, and it showed up on the field, obviously. Back to you.
Thanks, Armin. On the handoff and back to the line of scrimmage is Skip Hicks. In fact, I believe the exact terminology used by Michael Westbrook was jerk teammates.
Jerk teammates. Well, you know what? When you don't win, Greg, you get a lot of jerk teammates, and people like to speak out.
Football League in '98. And they really feel they found a jewel.
Yeah, Mike Riley said with all his playing time, with all the injuries in the secondary, they'll get a chance to look at this young man.
3rd and 10. Slant. McCaffrey changes directions and is
Sing.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by DirecTV. What are you looking at? By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. By Ameritrade. Believe in yourself. And by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL and Super Bowl 34. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Dallas Cowboys well ahead of the New York Giants, 23-3 early here in the 4th quarter. Cowboys with a win will finish 8-8 and earn a wild card playoff berth. First down for the Giants from the 20-yard line. Terry Collins, and his pass is incomplete, intended for Joe Juravicius.
Dick, you saw Troy Aikman talking to Jeff Ogden on the sideline. This is what it wasn't about. He's working on Emmanuel McDaniel and Brandon Sanders. He just gets rid of Sanders, then eliminates that. Now watch this little pirouette comes up the other side. They're not done yet. Sanders comes backside. When you're playing special teams and you're outside, it is a war, and you cannot stop. And Ogden put on a little bit of a show with Sanders.
I didn't know better. I thought they choreographed that whole thing. 2nd down and 10. Collins, and the pass caught by Tiki Barber. About 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Darren Woodson in on the tackle with under 11 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Giants and the Cowboys have met. This is the 10th time they have met in the season finale, with the Giants having won 5 of the 9. And the Cowboys trying to even it up and well on their way. Here is Collins, and he completes to Juravicius, and Joe Juravicius being chased from behind by Deion Sanders, and he does. He catches him before he gets in at the 1/2 yard line. What great hustle by Deion. 71-yard play, and Juravicius couldn't get in.
But did you see Juravicius? He knew who was chasing him, and he put the ball in front of him, anticipating that Deion was going to get him. See, right there, he sees it. So watch what he does with the ball at the end. He sticks it forward like that. I know you're going to catch me, but the ball's going over.
That's classic.
He looks right there. He goes, oh, no, it's 21. Keep running. Keep running. Now, oh, here, put the ball out.
That's pretty good. And here's Joe Montgomery diving in. Touchdown, Giants. So Joe Juravicius on a 71-yard catch and run. Try to extend, but he's happy even though he didn't get into the end zone.
He's still running over there in the sideline. Watch him. See, right there is where he sees Deion, and he's going, oh, crap, I can't believe it's 21. Let me put the ball out in front. Now, see, it's where the ball is.
His knees were
when
down.
His knee hits.
Right.
That's a great effort by Deion to come across the field and run him down.
I think Deion's having a blast today, throwing passes, going out for catches, and defending back there and chasing down receivers, and his team in front.
Dick, lost in all this. Now you got yourself a 2-touchdown game. And the Giants can win this thing.
Gary Blanchard's kick is good. Well, the Cowboys can't get too giddy because now it is a 13-point difference.
My driving test kind of got.
Especially when you're a free agent. Looked like Norman Hand walked off okay.
There's Big Norman on the bench. They're scoring by quarters. Second quarter, the big one for the Chargers. But right now, Denver threatening. Second down and 2 from the San Diego 17-yard line. Here's Gary. Bounces it outside, cuts it back in, and runs over a man down to the 10-yard line. Ran right over Fakir Brown. Picked up 7.
Conrad out of the backfield and is cut down after a pickup of maybe a yard on the play by Mark McMillan. I'd like to clarify something during that timeout. You really had never heard the phrase "it's either chicken or feathers" before.
No, I.
Let's see how he goes. Play away, hands outside the frame of the body. When you get your hands out there, you're in trouble. Holding Lou Bush. When you get your hands outside the frame of the body, the officials call it. And that's kind of shaky to call holding. I've seen a lot worse. But he had his hands directed out there, and so they went ahead and called it.
Play action, Greasy. In trouble. And
A Ticket in America, Thursday at 8 on Fox.
23-10, the Cowboys leading the Giants, who get their first touchdown of the game, and as Matt points out, is now a 2-score game, and 10 minutes and 19 seconds to go. The Giants up to that point, Matt, gave no indication that they were going to be involved and give the Cowboys a battle in this game, but all it takes is 1 score.
Now they're trying for the onside, so the Cowboys have put their hands team up front. Now they're switching back, so they have the personnel mismatch. The Cowboys countered. Giants lined up like they're going to do the onside. Then they switched over.
Maybe too early for an onside kick.
Yeah, but this is good though. They should be able to pin them back there.
And the kick out of the end zone for a touchback. Let's go down to Pam Oliver, who's with Moose Johnston.
All right, Dick, thanks a lot. Moose, let me ask you, up and down nature of the team this year, tell me how you think this win, getting into the playoffs, will cure whatever ails them.
Well, the big thing is we'll be in the exact same position we were last year. We got into the playoffs with a 10-6 record last year, but got knocked out in the first round. So this will put us in the same position. But I think everybody wants to have a little bit of confidence going into the playoffs, and just the 1 win is going to do wonders for us because we really have struggled down the stretch.
What do you think the impact was of Jerry's conversation with some of the veterans this week to kind of, read them the riot act? What impact do you think that had on them today?
Well, it seemed to be the nature of the business around the league. We've heard stories of a lot of the owners jumping up or coaches jumping up and challenging their players at this stage of the season. So unfortunately, I wasn't part of that meeting. I wasn't there that afternoon, but talking to some of the guys, they said that basically he was just reassuring that, we've got an opportunity here that we've had for the last 2 weeks. We've let that get away from us, and let's not do that again this week. So.
A lot has been written and said about Troy's unhappiness with the offense. Do you feel that Troy and Chan Gailey can coexist?
I think they can. I think everybody's been frustrated, and as a part of the offensive side of the ball, I mean, we just haven't done the things that we needed to do this year, and we've left our defense in awkward positions throughout the course of the season. They've held teams to 13 points, and we haven't been able to win football games. So I think it's more of a frustration than it is of a non-ability to work with each other. So I think that they'll definitely be able to coexist.
You're on IR because of the neck injury. Can you tell me what your prognosis is? What are you looking for in the future?
Well, we're going to have some tests run here in a couple of weeks, but in the beginning things didn't look that great, but we've made some progress through the season. So I got my fingers crossed, but we'll have to wait and see.
We all do, Moose. Thanks a lot. Let's go back up to Dick.
And Emmitt Smith bursting forward for 22 yards, and earlier with a 45-yard gain, and Emmitt Smith with 107 yards as a result of that carry.
And a nice job again by the offensive line. Stepnoski did a good job, and Larry Allen did a good job. And heck, look, there's nobody around. He has all kinds of room to run into that second level. Percy Ellsworth having to make the tackle again. That's too many times we've talked about Percy Ellsworth.
And the Cowboys very serious here because this game is by no means over after the Giants did score on their last possession. First down for Dallas on the 44, and here is Emmitt Smith, and this team meaning business, taking it on the ground again, and a pickup of 7 yards with Bernard Holsey making the stop.
You know, we said at the start of the game that this Dallas Cowboy football team was a running team, and they came out running the football, and then they put it in the hands of Troy Aikman. And when you have a future Hall of Fame quarterback, even though, yeah, you may be out of sync a little bit, and maybe the receivers are young and they aren't on the same page, but if you can protect him, he can still beat you. And really, he's been the difference in this game today.
2 touchdown passes. Second down and 3 on the Giants 49. And again, Emmitt Smith with the carry for about a yard. Right now, for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick, we all know what an outstanding job Bill Parcells did with a team that started 1-6, finished 8-8, including beating 3 playoff teams down the stretch. Curtis Martin, 158 yards on the day. Jets up in Seattle, but Seattle still is in the playoffs. That's because of the Kansas City loss. Seattle will host Miami. Tennessee will host Buffalo. Back to you, Dick and Matt.
All right, JB, thank you very much. And, of course, Miami got in when Seattle lost, and they're both in and will play each other. The Dolphins at the Seahawks. Buffalo will go against Tennessee next week in the AFC Wild Card.
There's my dark horse. The Buffalo Bills.
Very interesting.
Yes, they're playing good defense. They can run the football. If they can get some consistent play out of Flutie, they can make a run here. Tennessee's had an excellent year. They don't get enough consistent play out of their quarterback. If they can get McNair to play like he did last week all the time, they'd be phenomenal.
Why wouldn't he? Here's the extra point, up and good by Chris Brown, who's been a tremendous rookie. He scored over 100 points for the Steelers as a rookie place kicker out of Nebraska.
Who has a sharp offensive mind, apparently anticipated the Rams' ability to dominate offensively this year. Either that or he made a lucky guess. Come on, Barry. Give the guy his due. Don't throw in a cheap shot at the end.
I don't know, man.
Brent, you were on it from the very beginning.
Maybe a little lucky.
And Barry does not want to admit it. 2nd and 10. Incomplete.
Great.
You couldn't get to the outside, but Washington has been doing it all day long.
Oh, there's a little mix-up in the backfield.
Well, that's just the product of
Malcolm.
He's a genius.
On the New York Giants. With a loss, Green Bay will get in place of the Cowboys. 3rd and 10 from the 26. Graham with the catch at the 40.
Their chance, which I admit I don't deserve. Which leaves Malcolm in the middle.
Closer to the wall.
Mom, seriously, it reeks over here. I can't help it.
Malcolm in the Middle, premiering next Sunday after The Simpsons at 8:30, 7:30 Central on Fox.
Giants calling a timeout, setting up a very big play in this game. A 3rd down and 2 coming up for the Cowboys on the Giant 48-yard line. The Giants trailing 23-10. That's 2 scores, and badly in need of a stop right here. And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith, and Smith gets the first down. And the Cowboys will continue to use the clock. That was a 4-yard pickup, and Emmitt Smith today, 19 carries for 119 yards. A far cry from the earlier game at Giant Stadium when he gained 26 yards in 22 carries.
And you remember that first game, the Giants was different personnel. And they went with, they had 2 corners, healthy corners, and they just matched up, and then they played an 8-man front and took Emmitt completely out of the game. In fact, if I remember right, they were playing that gold bear front, right?
First down on the 44 for the Cowboys. Going with 2 tight ends, and here is Emmitt Smith trying to bounce out and then cut inside. Giants still have 2 timeouts remaining. That was Ryan Phillips making the tackle.
You know, it's been a good battle to watch today. It's been Eric Williams and Michael Strahan, because they're going after each other, banging each other, pushing each other afterwards. And then afterwards, like this last play, Eric Williams fell down. Strahan went over and helped him back up. Then they had a little bit of talk, and then they go back. Now they'll go back and headbutt each other again.
Respect.
Yeah, it is. And it's, you know, when you play, you're going to go against a guy who's going to bring his best game all day long, like Eric Williams. You have respect for that, and you keep on fighting it. The Strahan's the same way.
2nd down and 7 at the 41-yard line. And Troy Aikman on the slant completes the pass to Raghib Ismail. And Ismail, who has caught a touchdown pass, good for 15 yards. So Cowboys not necessarily keeping the ball on the ground.
Well, they've been doing anything, because take a look at this.
Right.
0 sacks allowed. They're running the football. They've been protecting Troy Aikman all game long. He's not been under any pressure. He's been able to step and throw up into the pocket. And this offensive line of the Cowboys, if they play like this through the playoffs, they can go pretty far.
Ismail, 7 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. He had been down in his numbers the last 2 weeks, but has come back strong today. He's in motion to the right on 1st down at the 26. And Emmitt Smith nowhere to go, and finally putting the seal on him is Ryan Hale, the rookie from Arkansas. Arkansas beating Texas in the Cotton Bowl, played yesterday right here in Big D.
Hey, I see Sims's kid was playing yesterday.
That's right, Chris.
Watch him develop.
That was seen on Fox, and the Arkansas-Texas longtime rivals in the Southwest Conference meeting for the first time in bowl play. The Giants calling their 2nd timeout of this 2nd half with 5:02 remaining. 23-10, the Cowboys leading the Giants.
Number 50, Dwight Hollier, one of the many tacklers in on the play.
Well, anytime you're down near the goal line and you think the other team is going to run the football in, it's just about getting penetration. And look at the Miami Dolphins. All the players in the backfield past the line of scrimmage. No matter how good a running back you are, you can't beat that.
Now it's 3rd and goal from the 4. Pete throws at the goal line. Touchdown. Larry Sanders.
By making it hard.
No, he's got it. He's thinking he's got it. Oh, how did I make that throw? Take a little juice off it. Mike Riley said he has a strong arm. Just haul it in there, big boy.
Mike Riley, Jim Harbaugh on the sidelines. 3rd and 8 from the 25 for San Diego. They're 3 of 9 on 3rd down conversions today. Moses steps up and is dropped.
If learning about digital cameras were this easy, you wouldn't need
play.
Getting ready for some time over there in Hawaii. Watch Neil Smith, Romanowski, Wilson. Everybody's collapsing the pocket. And Trevor Price coming in.
Central Fox Wednesday.
Back here at Texas Stadium, and you know there are a lot of people in Green Bay who are anxiously wondering whether the Giants can come back and pull this one out, although the Cowboys are marching impressively. They're on the Giant 29-yard line. A victory in an upset manner, a shocking manner by the Giants, would give the Packers the wild card berth. Here is Emmitt Smith, and Smith picking up about 3 yards. Hale on the tackle with under 5 minutes to go in the 4th.
Giants take another timeout right here to stop the clock.
And their last timeout of the game. And right now for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick, I think Matt would agree that Tampa Bay is most effective when his defense is playing well, and they're doing the job on the ground. 143 rushing yards today as Tampa won its first NFC Central championship since '81. And the Redskins not backing into the playoffs. They're playing well, up on the Dolphins by 18. Back to Dick and Howard Matthew Moses Long's good friend Matt.
Howard Matthew Moses Long. How about that Tampa Bay team, Dick?
Tampa Bay, very impressive down the stretch, winning 6 games, losing to Oakland 45-0, and then coming back to win their last 2.
And the recipe for success does not change. They play solid defense. They run the football. They play it close. They make you have to try to beat them. They do not beat themselves. That's going to be a tough team to beat.
People always say, how good is Sean King? If he doesn't make mistakes, that works into Tony Dungy's scheme of things with defense and the rest. Deion Sanders in the game at wide receiver, 3rd down and 10, and the pass to Mike Lucky, catching his first of the game, tackled by Sam Garnes, and that'll bring up 4th down. And Eddie Murray will come on to try for 3 more.
That'll be about a 40-yard field goal. 40, maybe 41.
Well, the longest field goal since his return from retirement was 34 yards. This will be his longest, 40 yards.
I was just watching him up in Detroit do sideline reports just a couple weeks ago.
Pam, who knows? Maybe Pam Oliver will get into the game. Bjornsson is the holder, and Eddie Murray's kick, and it is good. 4th field goal of the game by Eddie Murray with 4:09 remaining in the 4th quarter. And the Cowboys add to their lead and end a little Giant momentum.
He hit it right on a button.
43 years old, the oldest active player in the league right at this moment, and it gives the Cowboys a 26-10 lead.
See, and after he kicks it, he says, yeah, good job to the holder. Then he goes and he points to all the guys, and he has to go over and introduce himself. Hi, I'm Eddie Murray. You probably don't know me, but I kick for you guys.
Let's take a look and rewind to some of the early game headlines. The Tampa Bay Bucks, just talking about them, win their first NFC Central title since 1981. Seattle, after losing to the Jets, win the AFC West. Mike Holmgren's first year as head coach, their first time as champs since 1988, as Oakland beat Kansas City. And Marshall Faulk set an NFL total for yards, 2,429. And a lot of people, you'll talk about Kurt Warner and the great array of offensive performers on the St. Louis Rams. Marshall Faulk, talk to any coach, will tell you he is the main reason why they have played so well offensively.
Well, you can just watch the tape, you can see it. But if you're picking an MVP, do they win without Kurt Warner, who's had just a phenomenal year?
Probably not.
No, they don't.
Tiki Barber in the end zone will touch it there. Well, coming up next, kick back and let you entertain on the first Sunday of the millennium with King of the Hill and a special hour of The Simpsons, followed by a bizarre alien encounter on the X-Files next on Fox, except on the West Coast.
The left coast.
Now, Kurt Warner, no question about what he has done this year.
But I think when you look at those two, there's no way that without either one of those teams, either guys in that team, they would have won. So I think maybe it's a cop-out, maybe not, but I remember just a couple of years ago that Brett Favre and Barry Sanders were co-MVPs of the league, and that would be a fitting thing for those guys because they both had phenomenal years, and it's really be hard to choose between the two.
Giants with a first down from the 20-yard line, needing 2 scores to tie it up. That's 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and good pass rush that time by Leon Lett, who has the only sack of the game to this point.
Look how old that Leon Lett jersey is. I think that's looks like, and he tapes that thing down. I can see he's got it all doctored up. Look at all this stuff in here. But that's an old jersey. You know, I think sometimes, and I don't know if this is the case with Leon, but I know it was when I was playing. You don't want to let anything go. You just hold on to it. That's the jersey you played well in. Let me have it. Don't get rid of it.
Lett won't let go. 2nd down and 10 at the 20. And here's Kerry Collins throwing it into the Dallas bench, bringing up 3rd down. The Cowboys looking to go 8-8 and join Detroit as the 2 8-8 teams in the playoffs. But we've had a lot of double-digit champions. Washington heading for their 10th win. Tampa Bay in the same situation. And, of course, the Rams, despite the loss today, with a tremendous year. And it looks like that the weaker teams in the past in the league are not as weak as they used to be. And that's where the balance is coming from, it seems.
Well, I agree with that. You know, the thing about the Dallas Cowboys, they're 1-7 on the road. And that's the worst road record to make the playoffs. And of course, they're going to have to win. If they're going to win in the playoffs, it's going to have to be on the road.
David Patton, the intended receiver, and a tough place to win as well, the Metrodome, if that's the matchup.
So they don't got that going for him, which is nice.
It is 4th down, and the Giants looking for an attempt to keep it going, trailing 26-10. Giants with 1 touchdown, that coming here in the 4th quarter on Joe Montgomery's 1-yard run after Joe Jaravicious 71-yard play. And on 4th down, running out of trouble is Collins, looking for anyone up there, and the pass is caught, and it is a 1st down. David Patton makes the grab and keeps it alive for the Giants. Pick up a 15 yards with 3.5 minutes to play, and getting up slowly is Brian Williams, the center.
Engler is coming in for him. Collins bought some time by rolling to his right. Then he was just waiting for somebody to get open because the coverage converged as he rolled. Once he saw it, nice job by Patton to find that hole and sit down in it.
Giants are out of timeouts. And a free play coming up. Flag goes down, and the pass is caught by Joe Jaravicious. And that would be about 9 yards or so.
Still aren't throwing the ball down the field. Everything is still underneath. Good thing about this penalty is it stops the clock for it.
Offside, 93 defense. Penalties decline. 2nd down.
Pepe Zellner and, of course, Ron Blum had to make sure that Collins knew that it was about 9 yards on the play, maybe more than that, 9.5 yards. It'll be 2nd, less than 1. And the ball at the 44 of the Giants. Collins with time, and his pass intended for
be a flag
Toomer.
right there.
Toomer gets hit, and you're right.
Singer
Toomer come down.
Singer Mobley, that's the classic thing of, first of all, it's an uncatchable ball, and secondly, it's a defenseless position that guy's in. He's up in the air, and you have time to pull. You can't do that. Ball's uncatchable. He's kind of slowing down.
That's
and he whacks
similar to the Mark Carrier play again with Jermaine Crowell in the Detroit-Chicago game.
Carrier's had a couple of them. I know a couple of them. I've defended Carrier. And it wasn't like that. I know this year he got one, not on Crowell. Crowell's the same guy on the team.
Right. It was against the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, they find him big
That's
too.
Right, they did. I stand corrected.
You can sit down.
He wouldn't have done that to a teammate, I don't think. He may get a fine as well. 1st down. Collins going up top for Alford, and it's up for grabs. And Deion Sanders amongst the group fighting for that ball, and it's jarred loose for an incompleted toss.
George Teague got over there. Actually, Alford does a good job of making sure that Teague or Sanders doesn't come down with the ball. That's actually pretty good transition by Alford. The ball hung up in the air. Kind of a jump ball. And if you're not going to catch it, you make sure no one else does. Watch Alford. He's still trying to go for it. But then you just make sure you rip through so nobody does get it. That's a good job by Alford.
2nd and 10 with 2:45 remaining in the 4th quarter. No timeouts remaining for the Giants, and the pass is complete underneath to Ike Hilliard, but they hit immediately. I'll tell you one thing, the Dallas defense, and that was that win, not giving the Giants to get yards after a catch at all today.
And they forced them to throw under the whole time. They haven't pushed the ball down the field. You know, and just speaking, you mentioned that win. They may lose Randall Godfrey, who's had an excellent year in free agency. And if they do, that win will fill that hole admirably.
3rd down and 5. And this pass well overthrown, again intended for Amani Toomer. And 4th down coming up for the Giants.
Well, we talked about throwing the ball underneath by Kerry Collins all day. It's not, they haven't pushed the ball down the field at all. 7 times, 1 out of 7 down the field. The majority of those things, look at this underneath. This has been most of the time has been to Tiki Barber underneath.
Well, it's 4th down and 5 for the Giants. And if they're going to keep their flickering hopes alive, they've got to get the first down. Collins is being rushed, and the pass is caught by Barber, and he's got it, and a loose ball. And the officials have not given a signal. Yes, down by contact. So it is a catch and a first down for the Giants. And we'll have the 2-minute warning coming up with 1:54 showing on the clock. Barber had it down by contact when the ball came out. So the Giants have a first down, and they're still alive. 2-minute warning. We'll be right back to Texas Stadium.
Had the 1,000 yards right there, but dropped it. Got the alligator arms as he crossed the middle. His third drop of the day.
Yeah, you don't want to drop the one for 1,000. And there's a couple of those that he'd like to have back. And now big third down coming up. You know, he had been right there at the first down marker. And, you know, Mike, as much as this is a meaningless game, Mike Shanahan wants to win this game.
Because they have no money and they're so squeezed tight and all these things.
8-8. Greasy. McCaffrey with the catch, spins, will not get the first down. Is stopped at the 44-yard line by Fakir Brown. A pickup of 6. So with 5:50 to go, Mike Shanahan has a decision. Does he go for it?
And I think he's going to go for it.
And he's going for it on 4th down. So 4th down and 5 for the Denver Broncos. They're 4 of 11 on 4th down conversions this year. Here comes the blitz. McCaffrey first down.
That takes. We watched Damon Ewert play so much. His arms seemed to get stronger as the year went along. He got more comfortable getting his feet underneath him. Look at him. He kind of gets down and he just lets this one go. Around.
3 cheers for the new year.
He's gotten into the pep closet. I say he's coming out of the pep closet.
A special full hour of The Simpsons tonight at 8/7 Central on Fox.
2-minute warning with 1:58 adjusted on the clock. 26-10 the score. The Giants have a first down on the Cowboy 28, and we say the Giants trying to keep their flickering hopes alive. We really mean the Green Bay Packers do, because they're the team that would benefit if the Giants could pull it off. They need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. Collins' pass is caught by Tiki Barber down the sideline, and he went out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Clock stopping with 1:52.
Ran through the tackle of Deion Sanders. Deion looked like he was just going to try to push him out of bounds, but Tiki Barber just got himself a little bit of separation and turned the corner and got up on Deion Sanders.
And a few anxious moments, you'd have to say, for the Cowboys, because there's enough time for all those things to happen.
No question. Take a shot right here into the end zone.
2nd down and 2 at the 20, and a bobbled snap, and Tiki Barber may have fallen on it. So a low snap, and Barber coming up, holding on to his right knee. Brian Williams, the center. And
sometimes, Dick, like the Giants right there look like the Keystone Cops. And everything that could go wrong is going wrong for them.
And now a whistle, and Kavika Pittman practically shaking hands with Kerry Collins before he got the snap from center.
Unabated to the quarterback.
Offside, 97 defense. Unabated to the quarterback, 5 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
Mr. Unabated, Matt Millen. Troy Aikman,
I'll leave that one
coming
alone.
out strong. 288 yards, great passing percentage and 2 touchdowns. Kerry Collins with an interception. Those are his numbers. Emmitt Smith with his 9th 100-yard game of the year. And a great performance as well by Jason Tucker. Here is Kerry Collins, and the pass is caught by Ike Hilliard, and he's down at the 7-yard line with 1:19. Working against the Giants is the fact they don't have any timeouts remaining. That was a 15-yard pickup.
Get up there and snap the ball. Don't stand around.
They're going too slow. considering that they need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and that is the tie. Here is Collins' pass into the end zone, and it is
that's a touchdown
by Brian Alford for the touchdown with 57 seconds to go. And Brian Alford with the touchdown catch, and the Giants have to go for the 2-point conversion right here. And if they make it, you would then see the onside kick. Pete Mobley in the corner of the end zone, and for Alford, that is his first NFL touchdown catch in his second year from Purdue. So now the Giants with a 2-point conversion. And now the Dallas Cowboys are going to call a timeout. It is their first. So things get a little dicey as we get down to 57 seconds remaining. Well, today's game was produced by Richard Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. Terrific job done by our boys in the truck and the entire crew. Our associate director, Greg Scopatoni. Our broadcast associates, Jacob Ullman, Derek Manning, and Adrian Hassenmeyer. The technical producer, Dean Walker, and his fine staff. Been with us for many years. And the technical director is Rich Basili, and the audio mixer is Jeff Cohen. Our DX1 engineers are Ken Fitzgerald and Mel Shields. And thanks to Pat Connolly, George Risher, and Tracy Johnson in maintenance. Our first and 10 engineer is Colin McManus. The senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Thanks to all. 2-point conversion. Camella going in motion.
Pettigrews lined up outside like he thinks he knows what he's doing.
And the handoff is to Montgomery, and Montgomery dives forward, and he's got it. The Giants get the 2-point conversion and climb within 8 with 57 seconds to go.
That was all Montgomery, because he got hit right at the line of scrimmage, and then he just kept on going to get in. Good second effort. Now they're saying it's no good.
One official raised his hands on the far side, and they have waved it off. And Jim Fossil is not going to take this lightly.
See if his knee is down.
And in case you're wondering, inside 2 minutes, it is not a coach that would challenge it, but it would be the replay officials upstairs.
Still churning. Now he's on top of somebody. You know, his knee never technically touched the ground.
And his extension with his right arm broke the plane.
He's on top of a defender who tackled him.
Jim Fossil is livid as he is arguing with Ron Blum. And the replay booth.
Yeah, this is within 2 minutes, so the replay booth would have to call that, and they are going to review it upstairs.
This is a big one. This replay review.
That wins on the bottom. His knee is
not down.
No, he's on top of the defender when he goes over.
I think he went over because of the reason you just mentioned.
Kavika Pittman is underneath his knee as he's going forward. And it's across the plane. His knee has not hit the ground, but it has hit the player who's on the ground.
That win with the first hit. And of course, what this replay means that if it
means that the Giants can still win.
Can still win, of course. They'd be down by 8. Onside kick. They have to recover the onside kick.
The knee, as you can see there, was never on the ground. It was on the player on the ground.
Here comes Ron Blum with the decision, and it's Ron Blum's decision all the way.
After reviewing the play, the runner scored. The extra point is good. 2-point conversion is good.
And a good call.
I am 2 for 2 today. I am feeling really good about myself.
5 for 21 on the year.
Not bad.
And more important,
I'm a stiff.
2 for 2, and Jerry Jones talking with Calvin Hill on the sidelines, and the Giants are still alive, but all things have to work for the Giants. They needed the touchdown. They needed the 2-point conversion. They need to get the onside kick. They need a touchdown. They need a 2-point conversion, and then we'd go in overtime.
You sound like my kids at Christmas. Holy smokes. They need a lot of stuff. See if Santa shows up again.
Giants 0 for 2 on onside kicks. Gary Blanchard will kick it.
Hey, stranger things have happened, Dick. Wouldn't it be a fitting ending to a bizarre year?
Yes, all this year I was going to say those strange things.
You might hear a big cheer in Green Bay if they get this.
And the ball is knocked around.
Didn't go 10 yards.
Has to go 10 yards, and thus the flag is thrown down.
Sure, Livingston was right there, but it's got to go 10.
Illegal touching. The ball was recovered by the kicking team. The touch was prior to 10 yards. It's a 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
So they will re-kick. Matt, when we went to the fourth quarter and the score was 23-3 in favor of the Cowboys, we didn't expect to have this in the last minute of the game.
No, that's where it has to go, that 40 right there. Oh, boy. That came close. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to power everybody in and create a space and then let Livingston fall in behind it.
Almost hit Dexter Coakley. Came very close. So now the onside kick once more.
Taken from the 25. It has to get to the 35 before it can be recovered, unless, of course, it's touched first by a Dallas Cowboy.
And here it is again. It is touched by a Cowboy, and it's
Dexter
Coakley. And the Cowboys get the ball, and for all intents and purposes have ended the Green Bay Packers' hopes of getting into the wild card, and the Giants' hopes of winning a game and knocking off the Cowboys and finishing 8-8 on the year. There was Coakley, who very nearly had the ball the first time around.
You know, the shortest kickoff return for a touchdown was against the New York Giants versus the Oakland Raiders in 1980. Derek Jensen holds the record for the shortest kickoff return for a touchdown. And I happen to be there.
The NFC playoff teams and the wild card action will begin next weekend, and on Fox you will see an NFC wild card game a week from today. So Jerry Jones is going to make some changes in the way he operates his team, a lot of the spending of the money and so forth, but that's going to have to wait a while, as the Dallas Cowboys did what they needed to do finally after getting so many chances going by the wayside, defeat the New York Giants 26-18 and get into the playoffs. We'll be back to Texas Stadium in just a moment.
Welcome back to the NFL Sunday Ticket Control Center. There's still some NFL action taking place, but before you click over, here's an update on the late kickoffs. We've got some finals and some games still in progress. There's the game you were just watching. Dallas is in the playoffs. They defeat the Giants 26-18. Washington's about to knock off Miami. That's late in the fourth. Denver trails San Diego 12-6. And Tennessee leads Pittsburgh 40-29. That's with 6 minutes to go. So we're going to take you now to Pittsburgh with 6 minutes to go. Tennessee looking for its 13th win of the season. I'll see you a little later for a complete wrap-up of today's NFL action and look at the playoff seedings here on NFL Sunday Ticket.
Fourth wideout on the Steelers team. Today he's getting his opportunity. They've spread the field out quite a little bit a number of times, and that's when you get your extra wideouts a chance to get some playing time and some catches.
And ball on the field. Titans in pursuit, and they have it. And Matt Dunn on the run for the Tennessee Titans. Holloway is going to go the distance as we have Denard Walker taking it all the way down. No penalty markers are down, and Denard Walker with an 80-yard fumble return as the Steeler offense coughs it up again, and the Titans jump on it and now probably have locked up the game, taking a 46-29 lead with the extra point coming up.
The more emotional investment you have in a game, the tougher it is to let go. And you'll see here the Titans, get this ball. Richard Huntley is mad, and he stops. He thinks the play is over, and then it's too late. And you'll watch here as Troy Edwards runs down, tries to run down Denard Walker and can't do it. And that is a block in the side, and that's what Troy Edwards took exception to at the end of the play. You'll see here he gets up, breaks the tackle. You see there Richard Huntley thinks he's down, but Denard Walker just takes it.
Very few can outrun this guy. When he came out of LSU with a scouting report on Denard Walker was warp speed. He can run down anyone, a defender, but he runs away from everybody. The third fumble return of this game. The Dallas Cowboys are in the playoffs. They prevail over the Giants 26-16. Dallas gets in with an 8-8 record.
Early in the game, you told us it looked as though Tennessee was on pace to score 50 or 60 points, and I kind of chuckled. I didn't think it was going to happen, and now they've got 46 going for 47. You may have been right.
And we're going for a 76th point now with still 3:59 left to play. Denard Walker with
he says, I'm all right, just leave me alone. I need to.
Some arcane celebration. 3:59 to play. The officials discussing something now at the far sideline with Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, Troy Edwards has been ejected from this ball game, number 81, for that little altercation at the end of the play that you saw. And now Jeff Fisher is getting the explanation from the head referee. And we'll see if it goes both ways.
The longest day in the NFL becoming the highest scoring day.
Troy Edwards leaving the game. That's it for him. And Tennessee also is losing a player as well. Danon Sidney.
Danon Sidney goes off, two of the young guys.
Troy Edwards won't see the field again this year. Danon Sidney will be on the field next week.
Get off the field, guys, while you're still young. It's taking a while. The actual fight occurred 80 yards behind.